Hello FPL managers and welcome back to FPL Wednesday Live by Fantasy Football Hub. We will be talking you through the three 6pm Premier League games live from an FPL perspective. We will bring you all the goals, assists, bookings, injuries, dodgy VAR decisions and anything else live as it happens. But most importantly, what this means for FPL. We will also keep an eye on live bonus points, averages and stats courtesy of livefpl.net. My name is Andrew and I am joined once again by one of the best FPL managers of all time. This guy's never finished outside the top 35k in 13 seasons of playing. He has 7 top 10k finishes and I believe, Rich, after last night, you're on your way to your 8th top 10k finish and you've also got 2 top 500 finishes. It's the legendary Rich Clarke. Rich, you joined me on Bench Boost this week, was that right?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Andrew, for the introduction. Great to be on again. And yes, I am bench boosting this week. And obviously the team news is not great this evening, but we'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, I'm on the bench boost chip. Good start to the week yesterday. And yeah, just on the edge of the top 10K right now.
Cool, good stuff. Good evening, Surav, Sterling captain, benched. You saw what happened last time we were on this stream. He came on and got a goal and assist, so I wouldn't be too worried, Surav. John Tyner, hi guys, I brought in Jesus but can't see lineups. You'll be pleased to know that Jesus is in the starting lineup, but we will touch on that in a second. Rich will give us the teams. Seb Fox, not as long as Edison, David Silva and Foden are playing. I believe they're all playing. And FPL 7764, Youssef, hey all, only have Jesus and Foden of Man City. You've picked the right two, don't worry about that. So please give us a wave or a hello in a live chat. Tell us where you're from. We're really interested to see where our audience is from, what you want from the 6pm games, and who your captain is for the week. We are very interested to know. Also, any questions, comments, or anything else, please get them up for us all to discuss. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking the red button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. At halftime, we'll bring you the bonus points and our halftime quiz, our famous halftime quiz. We grill Rich again. Got 10 really good questions for Rich again, and for everyone listening, some themed football trivia to keep the old grey matter working through the break. And we will also bring you the all-important team news from the Arsenal v Liverpool game at 7:15. So on to the 6pm games, which are Burnley versus Wolves, Man City versus Bournemouth, the much-awaited Man City, Bournemouth and Newcastle, Tottenham. So please, Rich, could you give us the lineups for Man City, Bournemouth and Newcastle and Tottenham?
Yeah, sure, Andrew. Yes, a lot of changes for Manchester City. As expected, we didn't quite know which changes Pep was going to make, but he said he was going to make 4, 5 or 6 changes, and he has in fact made 6 changes from the team that played at Brighton at the weekend and won so emphatically. So the 5 players that keep their places are Edison, Walker, Mendy, Bernardo Silva and Jesus. And the 6 new people that come in for City are Otamendi, Stones, Gundogan, Fernandinho, Foden and David Silva. So that means that the highly owned Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez and Laporte all drop to the bench this evening. So a lot of people might have all 3 of those 4 in their teams. They're probably the most owned Manchester City assets, and they're all starting on the bench. But as Andrew says, against Bournemouth, with half an hour possibly in the second half, all is not lost. You've only lost the starting point, really. So hang on for the second half, and we could get some points. I've captained Sterling this evening, so very interested in what happens there. Just to cover Bournemouth. Obviously, buoyed by that 4-1 victory over Leicester. They keep largely the same team that beat them. No surprises. Dominic Solanke, who finally scored 2 goals, actually ousts Callum Wilson to the bench. And he starts for Bournemouth. Also has one forced change with Nathan Aki no longer available to play due to injury. So Steve Cook comes in for him. Alan Smith is also not playing, and so Stacey comes in. Now, the full team for Bournemouth is Ramsdale, Stacey, Steve Cook, Lloyd Kelly, Rico, Stanislas, Gosling, Billing and Lerma, with Josh King and Dominic Solanke up front.
Cool, and I get the glamorous Burnley and Wolves games. So the Burnley team, Nick Pope in goals. What a fantastic pick he's been for anyone who's picked Pope this season. They then got Bardsley, Long, Tarkowski and Taylor in defence. Eric Peters once again lines up in midfield. He could be a tasty option for the final two, because Burnley's final two, they've got Norwich and Brighton, and Eric Peters is a defender playing in midfield, so that could be an option for people. Brownhill, Westwood and Dwight McNeil and Chris Wood and the informed Jay Rodriguez make up the Burnley team. On the bench, Goodmanson, Brady, Peacock, Farrell, Vidra, Thompson, Dunn, Benson, Goodridge and Driscoll Glennon. And then for Wolves, the big news, sadly, for Doherty owners. Doherty, who's had a great run, both in the team, and for his FPL managers. Doherty finds himself getting a rest tonight. So it's Rui Patricio in goals. Bolly, Seiss, Cody, Traore looks like he may be playing in that potential, kind of
wing back
position. Vinagre probably on the left-hand side, who also replaces Johnny Otto, who again won't be a popular one. Moutinho, Neves in midfield, and then a front three of Jimenez, Diego Jota and Castello Podence, who retains his place after his man of the match performance in the last game. So their bench is Doherty, Cavasso, Jordayo, believe is the youngster, Neto, Morgan, Gibbs-White, Johnny Otto, Ruddy the keeper, Dendoncker, who's actually been in a bit of good form as well, gets a rest, Kilman and Burr. So they are the lineups.
Got one more game, Andrew.
Oh, apologies, Rich.
Newcastle, Tottenham. Your own team is playing at the same time. There's one more game up at St James's Park. So Newcastle play a more attacking team than the one that lost 5-0 to City last week. So all the popular attacking players like Almiron, Matt Ritchie, St Maximin and Gale, they all start tonight. And meanwhile, on the Spurs side, they don't rotate so much, but perhaps the big surprise is that Serge Aurier does start tonight despite his recent tragic bereavement. So good for Aurier for coming out and playing tonight. So the full sides for Newcastle are Dubravka, Kraft, Cher, Fernandez and Yedlin at the back. At St Maximin, John Joe Shelvey, Bentaleb and Matt Ritchie, and then Almiron up front just behind Dwight Gale. Up front, the Spurs side is very familiar. Loris, Aurier, Sanchez, Alderweireld and Ben Davis. Sissoko, Lo Celso, Winks comes in, and Lucas in midfield, and Son and Kane up front.
Strong team for both teams there, Rich. It sounds like it could be quite an attacking
game. That one.
Yeah, because neither team can defend, can they? So that should be an interesting one.
Absolutely. So that's the actual match I've got on the on alongside the City game. So I'm having a look at two games at the moment. I can't see what's going on in the Wolves game though. So
okay,
we'll have to try that one.
So the games are going to kick off in a couple of minutes. Hello, Donna Boyle in the chat. Captain Jesus, what a great pick! I think that's probably the pick of the week. He should get a goal or two surely before he's hauled off on 62 minutes, I would guess. But great pick, Donna. At Sav Chown have KDB, Mahrez, Doherty, Greenwood all benched. At Sav, that's not looking good. Greenwood may not even be on the bench, is my understanding. Just from earlier, he had a knock. It hasn't been confirmed. He hasn't been confirmed out for tomorrow night, but he's had a knock for sure. John Tyner, my cap already played. Willian got me 6 points. That's so unlucky, John. That Norwich game was absolutely plum. He's been playing really, really well. Really good captain pick, actually. I just think he's been really unlucky there. Surav is from India, Bangalore. I did some work in Bangalore a few years ago. What a fantastic place, Surav. I'm very jealous of you living there. Doherty being benched is a shocker. It is. Let's just hope that if you've got a good first bench player, that he stays on the bench and not comes on the 89th minute for the dreaded one-pointer. Stephen Clark hoping for a David Silva masterclass. I would have loved to have brought in David Silva this week. I just couldn't do it. I've got KDB, Mahrez and Foden. I've captained Foden, actually. I've got KDB and Mahrez. I just couldn't get myself to take a -4 to take out De Bruyne and Mahrez for David Silva.
I was very, very close to taking out De Bruyne for David Silva. It was the thing that put me off was just purely the ownership percentage.
Absolutely.
I just couldn't take the risk. I knew he was likely to be benched, so I'm just wearing the benching. But absolutely with you. Great time to bring Silva in. Definitely he's going to play the last week as well. So yeah, great transfer.
Game week 38, he is my captain without a doubt. FPL, Youssef, I have Doherty, Wood and Tarkowski on my bench. Going to use them in the final 2 game weeks. I think that they are great picks, Youssef. I think that's really good planning. Norwich and Brighton have got probably some of the worst defences at the moment, so I think that's really good stuff. Marshall Matters, we got pepped, guys, didn't we? Just not looking great, but depends how your bench is, and I thoroughly expect them to come on. So they've got the FA Cup semi-final on the weekend. I do expect them to come on, with 20 or 30 left. Yeah. Wouldn't worry too much.
Christopher, kicked off now.
They've kicked off.
Games kicked off. Yeah.
Games have started. Looking for a Foden goal. Come on, Foden. He owed me. For those who listened on the last stream, Foden let me down last time, but can't do much about that. Christopher Tellis in the chat has got Sterling as captain, Mahrez, Laporte and Doherty all benched. Or you want this game week to end? You never know. Wait an hour. It happened last time with Sterling. You never know. Marshall Matters and OBPS. James Hardin. Hi, what's the fallout from Pep rotation bloodbath? I had Foden and Dilver on my free hits due to captaincy poll and many top FPL managers. Captain Sterling, I went with him over. So I think the Sterling captain, being rested is probably. I wouldn't say it's a bit of a surprise, right? Because he played 90. I still think you could be all right. So I think Rich captain Sterling and gave me 34 plus, and he came on after 62 minutes and scored and got an assist within a minute of being on. And then scored.
He got a bonus point as well. I got a goal and assist, a bonus point. So I got 10 points from him from a 30-minute cameo. So yeah, he can definitely do it again. I you never know. He might give Sterling and Jesus 45 minutes each. That could happen.
Exactly that. Yeah. So don't worry, all the guys who've got these bench. Expect the cameo at the end, and they can always get something. And D-Raj, hi lads, hi there, D-Raj. D-Raj is the man. As soon as a goal goes in. As soon as anything happens, D-Raj knows.
He's quick, D-Raj.
He's very quick, D-Raj. And James had always listen to your own instincts, James. Absolutely. Captain Foden, captained him in 34. On this stream last year, Captain Foden, and obviously when you're doing the stream, you don't really realise exactly what's going on the games. But Foden assisted the assister for the first 3 goals. He had 2 big chances. How he missed that one from Biardo, I'll never know. And he had the highest expected goals in the whole bloody match. He didn't manage to get anything. So I'm really hopeful this evening that Foden can do some damage and get a goal or 2. And surely Doherty comes on post 45 from D-Raj. Not sure really. I suppose it depends how the game is going. But Traore very rarely plays 90. So I would expect him to come on. And L Pipe, nice to be back to back weeks on this stream. Welcome back, L Pipe. Great to have you on, and great to have everyone on. Thank you for everyone who is tuning in to listen to us. What minute you on? Marshall says we're on the third minute now.
Third minute, yeah. Only just kicked off.
Yeah, they've only just started. We might as well get in now. Just to let everyone know. So for Game Week 37 plus next Wednesday, we won't be doing a stream next Wednesday because there is only, I think, 2 games on that Wednesday. But Game Week 38 plus, 4 p.m. on Sunday the 26th of July, UK time, we will be covering all 10 games live in this stream. So make sure that you get on for that. Tell your friends. It is going to be absolute chaos with 10 games all going on at the same time with us trying to keep up. We may see if we can get a couple more guys on with us from the hub to go through the games, but get it in your diaries now. Though that last game, you can watch a game on the telly, put it on mute, listen to us tell you about everything what's going on the stream. So just to let you know, Game Week 38 plus, we will be here bringing it to you all live when David Silva scores his hat-trick.
Scores his final hat-trick. Yeah, no, City went close. He almost scored just then. Jesus did very well on the break and put in a through ball. Silva just missed it. Very, very close to City opening the scoring.
Okay. Seb Fox, Chelsea Norwich was annoying yesterday. Only 1-0. Pulisic hit the bar. Yeah, I think that Chelsea players, Chelsea owners can count yourself a bit unlucky. I had Pulisic, obviously got the assist. Nearly bought Giroud in for a hit. Glad I never. but we will, it's unlucky, but Chelsea, they're not Man City, right?
No, they're definitely not. I mean, I'm a Chelsea supporter, and they could have easily drawn that game. Norwich weren't that great, but they never got that second goal. And that was despite some good play. I mean, I had 3 Chelsea players in that game. Yeah. Alonso was a late transfer in and did very, very well, very attacking, but they just couldn't put the ball in the net really. And that's been the story of their season. They are still, apparently my friend took delight in telling me they're still vulnerable to Wolves, to actually losing their Champions League spot. If Wolves win their last 3 games, they'll qualify ahead of Chelsea. There's nothing Chelsea can do about it.
Wow, that is a scary proposition.
Exactly,
though.
Absolutely. So, we've got to go to Liverpool, which I don't think we're going to get anything out of, and then we've got to play Wolves at home. So, all to play for. David Silva has scored from a free kick already.
You're joking.
Wow, what a goal. Unbelievable goal. Straight in the top bin. Absolutely sensational goal.
He is. Oh, I was going to bring him in for a hit, and I didn't do it. Any idea on the assist, Rich?
I know. If you brought Silva in, you're going to have a great night. I mean, what a player.
And we've just seen in the chat, actually, that El Pipe tripled captain David Silva. What a start for you. What a start.
Tremendous finish.
Looking forward to seeing who the assist is. It's got to be Foden.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see who got brought down for the goal.
I would guess at Jesus, but I'm hoping it's Foden. Come on, Phil. Liam Bondin, hi guys. Finally decided to watch a game and listen to you. Welcome, Liam. Great stuff, and about time as well. We're here all the time. We still don't know who got the assist. We will check that now.
I can rewind and tell you that. Okay. Why don't I do that?
James Hardin says you'll be pleased to know I'm doing some cooking again. Yeah, you love a lasagna, mate, don't you? So it's not lasagna, but a chili to match the chili con carnage on today's team sheets. Absolute, James. Michael Svedin says no assist. I'm assuming that David Silva.
No, I think he was brought down for his own free kick. I think that's what happened. Yeah.
David Silva, what a pick. What a pick. Great stuff. And congratulations, everyone who is on him. 1-0 after 6 minutes. That is a good start.
He was a bit unlucky, He was brought down on the edge of the box and just got up, dusted himself down and put it straight in the top bin.
He is unbelievable. Why is he leaving? Why is he leaving?
Yeah.
But, anyway. D-Raj, kept on hearing your voice this game week's deadline about Foden captain, Andrew. Yes, D-Raj, you'll be pleased to know I've captained him again. I think
you gone for him again? Well done.
I have. If I'd have had Silva, I would have captained Silva, but I struggle to justify a hit.
I think a lot of people are put off by Foden's price from captaining him, but that's absolutely irrelevant. If you think he's going to do the best, then you captain him, don't you? It's just because he's 5.4 million doesn't mean he's not eligible. And he was definitely the most likely starter as well.
Absolutely, definitely.
Good luck. I think you'll do well with that, Andrew. With a long way to go. It's
we'll see.
The usual City siege going on here.
Are Bournemouth sitting deep, or are they?
Yeah, they've got about a 9-man defence at the moment that I'm looking at.
Very excited.
Yeah. Oh, very, very close. Fernandinho from about 30 yards out just missed the post by about a foot on the right-hand side. That was from a David Silva assist again. So, no, it wasn't a Bernardo assist. That would have been, but yeah, very close. You're going to see a goal attempt every couple of minutes here.
Good stuff. John Tyner's Peter's in the oven. Utsav has lost 200,000 places in the last 3 game weeks. Just won the season to end. That's unlucky, Utsav. Just come back next year, full of beans, full of energy, and don't worry about your performance. It doesn't matter. It's all about having fun. I'm sorry, but it is. We had a lot of shouts about Silva, Seb Fox, Silva, Stephen Clarke, good man, masterclass is on. D-Raj, I have a big feeling that Raz doesn't come on tonight. Kill me. Who is your vice captain, D-Raj? Let us know. And John Tyner, I joined Fantasy Football Hub a few days ago. I should hope so, John. It is the best place to be. And if you didn't see a tweet that went out an hour or two ago, we had updated rankings from Premier Fantasy Tools. Of the best FPL managers ever. And in the top 25, we had 4 of our Fantasy Football Hub contributors, including Adam Hopcroft, who is on the FPL podcast with me on a Monday night, Matthew Penakai, who does his weekly article, Thomas Kusharski, who does some of our design work, and the man staring at me on the right of my screen, Rich Clarke. So Fantasy Football Hub have got the very, very best fantasy football managers. L Pipe happened to triple captain David Silva. New KDB really dropped after starting 2 weeks straight. Completely agree. What a great move. Fantastic move, and congratulations. Really ballsy, low owned, fantastic stuff. And Andy Green, who is the other chap on the FPL podcast with me, who finished 3rd overall in the world last season. Andy in the chat, tell me you brought him in, Andrew. I didn't bring in David Silva. I was stuck with KDB, Mahrez and Foden. Didn't want to take a hit, but, plenty of time still. What is it, 81 minutes left, so we're all right. Surav asks, good question. This was on my list, actually. What's your take on the 5 subs from next season? So I don't think it's been confirmed yet, Rich. I'm not sure if you've seen it. But it's been put forward, and I think the Premier League have to decide if they want to actually do it or not. Going into next year, and there'll be 5 subs next season.
Staying with the 5 subs.
Staying with the 5, yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Rich? Apologies for putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose maybe they, in response to it, they ought to maybe tweak some of the rules a little bit for scoring. Yeah, I don't have a solution for it because I've only just heard what you said, but I think this whole thing around clean sheets at 60 minutes and 1 point for appearances, and I don't know. You could probably look at maybe adjusting the rules in line with that, because 5 subs means you're going to get far less people completing games. So I don't know what that means really, but it's going to mean that if someone is a regular completer of 90 minutes, has good stamina, is a talisman, they're probably going to be worth even more. Just thinking,
someone like Sterling, for example. It's very rare that Sterling, he comes off because he's, because he's tired. He comes off at times to give others a game, but he might be one, just as an example, who might be much more valuable.
Absolutely.
And Saurav says, guess that kind of kills the need for a strong FPL bench. That's an interesting point. Let us know your thoughts in the chat about that. What are your thoughts on that, Rich? About I don't tend to have a strong bench anyway, to be honest. I only tend to have kind of one. How do you play your bench normally, Rich?
I always like to have players that play. I might have one player that's a 4.0 or 3.9, but I like to have players that play just from a selection and a weeks like this week when you suddenly get a lot of rotation or some surprise injuries. I hate throwing points away because there's no one to come on for someone. So I am an advocate of a strong bench, particularly around Christmas periods and situations like we're in now with the lockdown, with games every 3 days.
Good shout. And L Pipe says if there are 5 subs, that's all right, because we've had the last 9 game weeks of this season to predict what will happen for next season in terms of substitutions, which is a fair point actually. And I think it's tough. I think it also means that impact players as well. So players who come off the bench and do so. People like Jesus, etc. may actually be a bit more viable, because when Aguero's playing, he's normally number 1. Jesus may be a bit more viable, and the impact of Spurs. But it's very, very interesting about that. I'm just going to touch on a few stats for everyone for the game week. So effective ownership stats. So these are the most owned players. This is in the whole game now, not just in the top 100k or anything. This is for the whole game. De Bruyne is owned by 55% of all players, has an effective ownership of 68%, and that's over like 7.5 million players. So De Bruyne's benching is going to have far-reaching impact if he doesn't get on the pitch. Salah, owned by 37%, has an effective ownership of 52%. That's because he's got such a high captaincy ownership across the game, which I will touch on now. Van Dijk, surprisingly, still very, very highly owned. 43% of the game own him. Fernandes, 34%. Alexander-Arnold, 44%. Vardy, 30%. Ings, 34%. Jimenez, 34%. And then Sterling, 21%. Aubameyang, 22%. And then captaincy stats. This is captaincy stats again over the whole game now. Salah has been captained for game week 36 plus by 15.39%. of the population. De Bruyne, captain by 14.48%. That could be potential massive swings for David Silva captainers, just as an example. The edge they're going to get over De Bruyne captainers is going to be crazy this week.
Yeah, particularly if he gets another couple.
This is it. Bruno Fernandes, 9.48%.
Very
Sterling,
low. I had it on Fernandes before I got influenced by Sterling talk, and Fernandes was a safe captain choice away to Palace.
We just had a question off L Pipe. I'm not sure if you could maybe have a look, Rich. What is David Silva's active ownership percentage? I can't tell you, but I can tell you he is definitely under 9%, because that's how far my list goes down. So he is very low. I think he was around, I want to say about 6.5%. That was on Monday when we did the FPL podcast. So he's very low. So if you're on David Silva,
I haven't got his active ownership stats, but I can tell you his total ownership stats.
Oh, good.
I wouldn't think that would differ greatly, because you might not be in that many dead teams. He's in 4.9% of teams.
Wow, is that all? 4.9? Yeah. That is incredibly low. Congratulations, everyone in the chat who's been saying they've been captaining and triple captaining David Silva. What a wonderful start you've had.
Yeah.
And then just to finish off the captaincy, so 8.4% of managers captain Sterling, 6.49 captain Aubameyang, 5 on Vardy, 5 on Mane. And then the top 10k, which gives a bit more probably of an indication of of what is going on for the engaged manager, like everyone who is watching us now and listening to us. Bruno Fernandes owned by 91% of the top 10k. De Bruyne owned by 75% of the top 1k. Pulisic owned by 50% of the top 10k. Alexander-Arnold 66, Sterling 39, Martial 56, Ings 51, Salah 43, and Jesus 39. Doherty in 49% of teams. So some really interesting ones there, and with 3 of those key ones definitely benched. And captaincy stats for the top 10k. Sterling, top captaincy pick in the top 10k with 20%. Pulisic, who has already played, 16.8. Fernandes 16.6. De Bruyne benched 11.2. Jesus 7.98. Willian, who's already played, 7.4. So then you've got to go all the way down.
Really spread this week, isn't it? Absolutely.
I find it has been, Rich, ever since lockdown. I think there's so many options, like every single week. Normally when you do a poll, you've got one runaway leader, but this time it's been fantastic. There's such a spread of ownership of players, of captains. It's really good.
Well, it leads to a lot of moving up and down for people, which is what you want to make it exciting. I do like the challenge of FPL. No, it's not just about getting out in front and no one can catch you, because in previous years when you only had like an auto captain like a Suarez or a Salah or whatever, it can get a bit dull with your captain scoring every week and everyone's got the same captain. But like this, you're going to get a huge amount of variance in performance across the team, so leads to a very exciting finish.
It does. And also in the top 10k then, so 16.7% of all managers use their free hit, and 2% use their triple captain, and the triple captains were used on Pulisic, Sterling, Willian, and De Bruyne. So no one else in top 10k. There's going to be some swings. There's going to be some swings this week, and overall ownership, triple captains used on De Bruyne, Willian, Fernandes, and Sterling again. So unless they come on and Stephen, it could be interesting. Let's just have a quick catch up on the chat. John Tyner had 23 points on his bench that didn't come into my team last week. John, that's got a sting. I've been doing that all season. All season been benching a lot of points. Really frustrating. How frustrating that can be. And did either of us have Antonio last week? Sadly not. He was 1 week tipped up on the podcast, but it's just room to have all these players, right? You just can't have all of them.
He was someone I was considering bringing in. He was one of 3 options to bring in for me this week. It was either going to be David Silva that we've talked about, Antonio or a Chelsea player for last night's game. I ended up going for a Chelsea player, but yeah, Antonio was definitely on my mind. He's got 2 great fixtures left. He plays Friday, meaning that if you've got him, you still can have something to hope for on Friday night. I think it's a great pick. He's a real form pick, but I think unfortunately, if you didn't get him this week, he's away to Man United next week. That's not a great fixture. So it's probably a bit too late to get him. The only time I would get him would be on the free hit on the last week if you still get there. Yeah.
It's these midfield spots as well, right? So who do you drop?
There are. Most people playing 5-man midfields. There's
you've got
they probably
Martial,
need 8 spots. Yeah,
exactly. De Bruyne. Who can you drop to bring in these people? Because they're all on form. They're all scoring points every single week. And I do wonder, actually, just touching on the question earlier about how 5 subs will affect the season. I think it massively helps teams like Man City as an example, right? So they will be bringing on 5 world-class players every single game, whereas your teams like say your Burnleys, your Southamptons, all teams like this are not going to be able to bring on those kind of players.
They might not even be able to name 9 subs. Some of these squads towards the end of the season, they'll be so depleted.
And I also wonder whether it would mean that teams would do better in Europe as well, because more players are just getting that little bit more of a rest, aren't they? So interesting. Christopher Tellers, Dilver is definitely one of the first names in my free hit team game week 38. He's going to be my captain 100%. David Silva, if nothing but nostalgia. So 2 years ago, I finished with an overall rank. I finished about 700th, but I was at one point in the heavy stages of the top 100 overall in FPL. And there was one player that helped me there, and it was David Silva. He was sensational. He had a stretch of form over Christmas where he was doing all the damage. He was really low owned, so I'm captaining him regardless, just for that, because he helped me get my best ever finish.
And just showing like the free kick he scored just then was sensational. It's not like he's some old donkey that's giving up the game, and he can't go in him. He just scored an absolutely world-class goal. So you're getting a player in for 7.3 million who can literally score a hat-trick on the last day of the season. If City get a penalty, he'll get given it for bye-bye reasons and so on and so forth. So that it's absolutely set up. So definitely keep one of your transfers, whether it's one of 2 or just your only transfer to get him in. You'll probably possibly need to sell a City player for him. But, there's other options, I think, Chelsea have got a tough game. United have got a tough game at Leicester. So there's definitely room to bring him in. And Norwich is an irresistible fixture. So definitely do it.
And I think as well that they will all be looking for him. He's such a likable, team player that they will all be looking to put it on a plate for him, I think, So. Anyway, Michael's fed in. Bruno looked knackered last game. Due a rest. Well, I saw Solskjaer's comments earlier today saying they're just looking at one game ahead. They're not looking anymore after that, and if that's the case, then I would imagine he would start. United have to win their games. I think this is the thing. Say he's due a rest. I'm not sure what will be more important to them. Top 4 winning the FA Cup. I would probably say the top 4, to be honest, because they could be able to attract more players. So I wonder whether if it was a choice of games, whether he would actually play more in the league than the FA Cup. But we will see. Obviously, they have Chelsea on the weekend, Rich, in the FA Cup.
Chelsea semi-final.
That'll be a good game.
It will be. Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to watching a game and not worrying about the FPL points. It'll just nice
just watch a game of football. Absolutely. Evening to Mark Byrne. Mark Byrne, 59 points last week. Martial captain, not that bad, Mark. I think that was above average. The average is about 52 or something like that. So decent week there, Mark. L Pipe, any update on the Spurs match? So it's 0-0. I'm not sure if
I've got it. I'm looking at it about a minute behind on a lag. It's 0-0. Spurs seem to have most of the ball. Right. It's definitely still 0-0. No real clear-cut chances going on. No, still just a fairly typical pressing performance from Spurs. We're not really creating a lot of clear-cut chances.
I see the financial fair play decision may benefit Newcastle as well. Well, I'm not sure, but I think the sale is looking like it's going to go through for £300 million, and the owner, I believe, is a trillionaire. I'm just repeating what I've kind of read and stuff, but I think the owner is like one of the richest men in the world. They'll definitely be the richest club in the Premier League. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens with Newcastle next season, and if they can get a few players in, which I'm sure they will, they could be, I don't mean to challenge for the league or anything, but you've only got to look at what Wolves and Sheffield United have done this year, to see what can be done with a half decent squad. So that will be interesting.
I think he's. Sorry, I think the guy that is going to own Newcastle, he makes the City owner look like a pauper, doesn't he?
I think he does. He
I
does.
think is dwarfs him in wealth. So yeah, Newcastle could yet return to being a superpower of the Premier League within a couple of years. Alan Shearer will certainly be happy.
Be very excited.
Change of ownership, won't he?
and finally to get rid of the owner they've had for such a long time. Yeah. Liam Bondin mentioning free hit in game week 38. Top names that come to mind to have in your team. I think Man City Norwich is definitely the standout fixture. Not only because it's Man City, but that's the real standout one. Rich, what are your thoughts on game week 30? I don't know if you've got the fixtures in front of you, but what are your thoughts
38?
On 38?
Yeah. There's several kind of fixtures. I mean, the key thing is that I think a lot of the top clubs who are vying for the European positions play each other. So Leicester play United, and Chelsea play Wolves. Those are potentially Champions League playoff games, because Wolves are not out of it. If they wouldn't win this evening and then win next week, they could. They play Crystal Palace next week, so they've got a nice easy fixture. Whereas Chelsea go to Liverpool, so it's all going to bunch up and go down to those games. And if you look at the ownership of players across Leicester, United, Chelsea and Wolves now, you've probably got half of people's sides tied up in those two games. So that's really significant. So it's teams like, some of the mid-table teams like Burnley and Southampton, teams that are playing well, scoring a lot of points, is where perhaps the opportunity.
Apologies to interrupt, Rich. I think there's been a goal. There's been a goal in the Newcastle Tottenham game, and Tottenham have taken the lead after 26 minutes. Apologies for interrupting you there, Rich. But
that's all right. No, it's going to come through on my laptop in a
minute or two. Spurs have scored. They are 1-0 up. So we just wait to hear the outcome of that. Captain Son in my Sky Dream team. Not that that's.
It is scored. It's Son. Son scored the goal.
Son has scored, has he? Wow. So Heung-min Son, who was taken out in droves a couple of weeks ago for the Man City's mids.
This come from, I think, Lo Celso has got the assist.
Lo Celso assist for Heung-min Son.
Maybe
goal,
not. Maybe it's number 18. Maybe it's Ben Davies. Sorry, I confirm that in a second.
Definitely Son, who's got the goal. I've just had that through. L Pipe, yes, come on, you Spurs. Are you a Spurs fan, L Pipe? I'm a Spurs fan as well. Nice to see us finally getting some points on the board and hopefully staying in the top half and finishing above Arsenal. Hopefully, that would be nice, especially after a win on the weekend. We will just get that assist confirmed as soon as we can. D-Raj, Lo Celso assist.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be some player, Lo Celso, next season. I think he looks good. I think he looks like a skillful Christian Eriksen, but we will see. William wonders, where is De Bruyne and Sterling, my man? They have got splinters on their arse, I'm afraid, at the moment, because they are sat on the bench, but I'm sure they'll be on, especially if it only stays at 1-0. 28 minutes, 1-0, Rich. I was expecting a bit more.
Yeah, it's not that sort of second and third goal hasn't come, but you've got to remember that City are theoretically playing their B team here, aren't they? So actually, this is no credit. These players are getting any other side in the Premier League, but 6 or 7 of them aren't in the first class lineup. So perhaps that's the reason it's not a landslide. And you've got to remember that Bournemouth are, set up to not concede a lot of goals this evening. Because goal difference could make a massive difference in their last two games in efforts to stay up. So they are playing almost like a nine man in the back.
Well, let's hope Man City, and in particular Phil Foden, have got the guile to get through them. And
I think it's good news. It's good news for the players that are benched. If it stays 1-0 till half time, you will see more players coming on in the second half. If it's 3 or 4-0, he might not bring them on. Or he might give a couple of kids a chance.
Seb Fox, United have to win league games. I think they will play their best 11 in most games. I agree with you there, Seb. I think they will. I don't think, even if they win the FA Cup, that's not going to make up for not finishing in the top 4 next season. Aman24, thoughts on Aurier starting? I started him, but was sure he'd be out of the squad. Rich, what are your thoughts on Aurier starting?
All I can say is I know people deal with grief in very, very different ways, and sometimes they'd rather go to work and concentrate on something. That's the only reason I can think, is that he wants to play football to take his mind off it.
I think that's a really
good luck to him, and good luck to anyone who kept him and played him. So that's it, really.
Incredible.
Son went very, very close with a long-range effort from outside the box just now. Great save from Dubravka.
He's on form at the moment, Son, and he's
full of confidence again now, and he can be very dangerous. It could be another late pick, and Spurs are finally putting a bit of a run together. Make a late charge on the European Europa League spots.
We'll see, definitely. John Tyner, what about Sheffield Wednesday? Financial fair play deduction. I've got to be honest, I'm not really caught up on that. Rich, I don't know if you know anything about it, do you?
I'm afraid my obsession with the Premier League means that my knowledge of lower league teams is appalling. So if you ever do a half-time quiz on the
on League
ESL,
2,
I won't be very good at it, mate.
No, I'm the same. Sorry, my obsession with fantasy football for the last 20 odd years has made me to mainly concentrate on the Premier League. But
I got a funny story. A friend of mine is a Wickham supporter, and I live near Wickham, so very interested to see them get promoted in the playoffs this week. But he gave me a quiz, a little bit like one of your quizzes, and he named 10 teams from the Championship, League One or League Two, and asked me just to tell him what league they were in. And I got every single one of them wrong.
Wow. How times move over the years, isn't it? It's hard. It's hard to keep up when you're not focused on it, definitely.
I know, exactly. So
you'll be pleased to know that your halftime quiz today is on the Vauxhall Conference crowd. Sadly not. It's all Premier League.
Can't wait for that one.
It's all Premier League. Seb Fox, Newcastle going to tempt Messi to the northeast. Can you imagine? We'd love to see Messi in the Premier League. I can't see him going to the northeast, to be fair, but I would love to get a season out of Messi in the Premier League. It would be it would be superb. And it could be huge right investment. Agree with it. I think that Newcastle next year, over the next 3 to 5 years, if it's run properly as a project, they set up the youth system, buy some good players, I think they could be really, really good. Just a few.
Bournemouth almost scored. Great save from Ederson. I think it's just saved it onto the post and kept it out. Huge effort from Stanislas over the wall. Great save. Bit lucky, Ederson. Went back against the post, ricocheted against his hand and went out for a corner.
Now there's a man in form, Stanislas as well. Has he got three in his last 2, is it? And really a man in form. Just a couple of stats. Gameweek 36 plus most transfers in. Sterling, unsurprisingly, 230,000 new owners just to see him benched. Jesus, 179,000 new owners. And Danny Ings, who I brought in this week. Oh, no, I didn't. I had him already. 173,000 as well. Yeah, I think they are really good picks, not only for now, but for the rest of the season. Transferred out Soyuncu after his red card for gross misconduct. 307,000 transfers out. Mo Salah transferred out by 136,000 managers against Arsenal. I believe he's got Did 10 returns in his last 5 or something. But obviously,
Price has dropped as well. Mo Salah's price has gone down. He's now just a mere 12.5 million. But I do miss him in my team. I have to say, it's what it is. Out of all the players, he is the most uncomfortable watch. If you
he
don't
is
own him.
frightening, and
It's like I am still considering an option to bring him in next week. I've got the money to do it. I'm just not sure I can go the last 2 games. I think Chelsea's defence is pretty wide open. It's not good, and he's so selfish. He just wants the ball all the time, and it'd be interesting to watch him tonight. If he goes well against Arsenal, I think he's coming back for me.
He's a decent finisher. I don't know what you think about this, and we only tend to kind of hear it and see it a fair bit because he doesn't get bonus points well. It's because he misses the target a lot, doesn't he? Do you think he's like a great finisher, or do you think that he could do better? Basically, it's hard to argue with his record, but
I don't think he's the one of the best finishers out there, like I don't know, a Vardy or a Kane who when they get a chance they just pretty much bury it. But those players, their stats and their chances and their XGs, etc. They're not so strong, but they're just very good finishers. But Salah just his involvement is so huge that if you watch the end of that Brighton game last week, he literally had a chance every 20 seconds in the last 5 minutes.
Yes, very
scary. And it just like if you owned him, you'd just be thinking he could have scored 6 goals, not 3. It's just I've never seen a player like it, and he just is in the right place all the time. So.
And that header he missed at the end as well. That must have been a killer for captains because you couldn't have asked for an easy header, could you?
So just for that pure reason, the pure numbers that he just throws at it, he's just very reliable. And when he wants to, things like if he gets another couple tonight and gets in range of Vardy for the Golden Boot, he'll definitely play the last 2 and could have 4 or 5 goals. So definitely he's a good person to bring in
as a differential as well.
If you have it.
So we're 36 minutes into the games now. Just to catch up with the chat, John.
Bournemouth, come on! Oh my God! Bournemouth have been really good last 5 minutes. Another great chance on the edge of the 6-yard box. City didn't know a lot about it, but it cannoned off Otamendi, I think it was, over the bar for another Bournemouth corner. Bournemouth, they haven't got it all their own way here, Man City. Bournemouth having a real go and another great chance to equalise here. It's a good game, actually. And it's Solanke on the turn who nearly scored. Absolutely, good game. Good game going on right in front of my eyes here, Andrew.
And a man on form. Good stuff. John Tyner says that he got his hair cut today. Well done, John. We're still locked down in Wales, but I haven't got that issue really.
I know the feeling, John. I was wearing a baseball cap on this show a couple of weeks ago because I had my hair under it that I had to hide it from the world. But I know how you feel. It's a great feeling to get to the barbers. Hellpipe.
Lo Celso is another version of Eriksen, except Lo Celso can beat the first man from a corner. Completely agree. Eriksen's corners. What was going on at end of the season? Last season, bloody awful. D-Ride, City Bournemouth looks stalemate, especially post that goal. Lovely for owners of KDB, Raz and Mars, as we just said, Rich. Looking like a really good game, and City are going to want to put that game to bed. So
I think they're going to. Bournemouth have actually had more goal attempts than City, 6-4, more attempts on target, 2-1. Making a real fight of it. I think City were all over them in the first 10 minutes, but Bournemouth are having a real go here, and it's so much at stake for them. If they could get a result, if they could even get a point here, that's huge because it puts them within 2 points of Watford and who's the other one? Watford and West Ham.
Seb, so we talked about Salah's sales, 136,000 sales. Seb Fox, people sold Salah to get Sterling in for their benches. That is very tongue-in-cheek there, Seb. It's a bit harsh for all the Sterling captainers, but I take your point. And Diraz tells us...
goal for City. Jesus from a David Silva assist. Absolutely amazing stuff here, guys. So if you have got the right players this week, lovely through ball from Silva. Jesus still had a bit to do. Turn the defender inside out and buried it in the far corner. Nice goal.
Silva and Jesus, they're the ones to own this week,
nice
and especially
combination.
Silva. My goodness.
2-0 after 39 minutes. Very good.
Was
That's
that on the
easy.
break after all Bournemouth's?
No, it wasn't really on the
pressure,
break. It was just a nice bit of passing, and then just a lovely through ball from Silva, doing what he does best, setting him up.
Okay, so
Jesus.
2-0 to Man City after 39 minutes. Newcastle 0, Tottenham 1. Son got the goal with Lo Celso assist, and it's still Burnley 0, Wolverhampton 0. We haven't seen or heard much from that, apart from Charlie Taylor has gone off injured, which is not good for his owners. He's been on form. He's got a fair few owners, I think, and he's gone off injured in the first half, which is not good because he will be stuck with a 1-pointer if Burnley manage to get that clean sheet.
He was one of the players I was going to buy next week to try and create some cash for Salah. So that might need a rethink for me.
It sounds like Charlie Taylor subbed off. Would have had him coming in for Doherty. Oh wow! So I think Sourav, whatever happens there, you're on for a 1-pointer either way there. Seb, Sterling is similar in terms of not being a great finisher, but still with lots of goals. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just the shit. It's their pace, really quick feet, but it's also the amount of chances they get. Right, whereas someone like Aubameyang is probably a really good example. He only needs 1 or 2 chances to get the goal. Sterling and Salah need 3 or 4, but yeah. Diraj, Jesus goal, El Pipe, David Silva assist, 27 points from him alone with my triple captain. Well done, El Pipe, great stuff. Seb Fox, Silva could be in the bonus points tonight too. I guess he would be. At the moment, he's definitely on for all 3, I would guess. We will give an update on that at half time. Thanks again, everyone, for your interaction on the chat. Really good stuff. Really, really, really appreciate it. And just to finish off the Gameweek 36 plus most transferred out players, Jimenez was also transferred out by 128,000. Frustrated managers. So I kept him in this week for my bench boost. Not expecting much this week, but he is home to Crystal Palace next week, and I'm fairly hopeful because Palace, their defence has absolutely fallen off a cliff. I think we used the analogy on Monday night on the FPL podcast that not only are Palace on the beach, they have flown home. They've got their after sun on. They've got all their dirty washing out, and they're planning for next year. They are gone.
They've got the brochures out for next year.
They got the brochures out for next year, exactly. They're handing out the souvenirs. That's it, exactly. Some top transfers in this week. Very interesting to see who the top transfer in so far for Gaming 37, Rich. Could you have a guess? It'd be good if everyone on the chat could have a guess as well. Who does everyone think the most transferred in player for Gameweek 37 plus is? Quite a surprising one, I would.
I think it's a really difficult one to call next week. It's such a spread out game week with the FA Cup matches in blue. Can't believe it will be a player who's playing for one of the semi-final teams, because you wouldn't want to get another player in when they had a FA Cup game. So I'd have to go outside of those 4. God, I'm a bit stuck.
It's really hard, actually. I'll give you a clue. I'll give everyone in the chat a clue. So we're having some guesses of Pulisic, Ings and Sterling. Here's a clue. The top transfer out this week is Soyuncu. That's the only clue I'm going to give you. Obviously, because he's banned now for the 3 games.
Okay. In that case, it's not Wes Morgan, is it?
No, it's not. It's not a direct replacement, but it is defender.
And come in for him.
Aman24 has got it right. The top player in for Gameweek 37, with all the excitement of everything what's going on, the top player in is Tarkowski. He is being bought in by 13.
Because he's playing against Norwich.
This is it. Playing against Norwich, and last they've got Brighton.
I imagine there's probably a few Nick Pope transfers in as well, I should imagine.
Yeah. Is something going on the Man City game at all, Rich?
There was a bit of a goalmouth scramble, a good chance for City again. Everyone was involved. Possibly a penalty shout.
Okay.
Against Jesus. It's not a penalty. Maybe it's going to VAR. He went in a bit of a lunge for a ball, but I don't think it's going to result in it.
If there is a penalty, I think David Silva would be taking it, wouldn't he?
Possibly. Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
So, Tarkowski, 13,000 transfers in. Probably a really good transfer, actually. They've got the best 2 fixtures of anyone left. They're great in defence, and obviously he has that attacking threat as well. Martial next, 9,000. I haven't got Martial. I'm looking at him for next week as well. Martial's got nearly 9,000. Sterling. So Sterling has 9,000 transfers in for next week, which is maybe a bit, well, I don't know if it's a bit strange actually. They do finish with Watford and Norwich in all fairness, but they do have that FA Cup game. John Egan with 8,000 and Danny Ings with 8,000 as well. And top transfers out this game week. So Soyuncu, 21,000. Willian is being transferred out in droves. 11,500 after his disappointing 3-pointer. And Chelsea's fixtures do turn now. They're away to Liverpool next. And then they finish with Wolves, who have been very tight at the back as well. So, Rich, is it time to jump off Chelsea players, do you feel?
Well, I should I should know. I've got 3 of them. I'm certainly going to sell one of them in the week. I obviously they got some decent points last night. I have Alonso, Azpilicueta, and Pulisic. Quite happy to play Pulisic against Liverpool because I think he's quite a good
it's a good shot.
Player on the break. So when Liverpool are pushing up, he'll get some chances to run at them. So I like Pulisic. I'm not in a hurry to get rid of him next week, but I've got to let one of the defenders go. I think 2 Chelsea defenders doesn't give me a strong enough bench, and I've got to play one of them if I keep them. So I'll probably go for one of those Burnley boys that you were talking about.
It's a really good shout, I think.
Yeah.
I think Tarkowski is a really good shout. I'm not sure how much. He'll have to check. He's probably, I doubt he's over 4.9 or 5 million, but it's a good shout. Next highest transferred out is Aurier. So obviously everyone thinking he was going to have the rest of the season off, or at least have the game off, but he's currently, we're nearly up to half time now, and he's currently on for a clean sheet. Abraham transferred out by 6,000 managers. What has happened to Tammy Abraham? He's I know, I like Giroud. I think he's a very underrated footballer. He plays that kind of withdrawn 9 sort of role, doesn't he? But he's great in the air, great holding the ball up and stuff. Rich, what's the kind of long-term future, do you think, for Tammy Abraham?
Well, I think with the new striker, Timo Werner, coming in next season, it doesn't look like he'll get, the run in the team that he had this season, but Chelsea will have it, either Champions League or Europa League football. They have a deep squad and lots of rotation. I can't see him being loaned out again. I think he'll stick at Chelsea and try and fight for a place. And possibly Giroud's getting a little bit old now, so maybe they'll be between him and 3. But Werner will be the main man, certainly at the beginning of the season. Absolutely.
I wonder whether they'll stick with the same formation, because Werner has played as part of a 2 before as well. But obviously we'll probably see a lot more of that in pre-season. It'll be interesting. And lastly, Vardy. Even though he's playing well, been scoring goals, he's been transferred out by 5,500 managers as well. And Leicester's fixtures, they finish with Tottenham and Man United. Can be very, very tough for Leicester, and very tough for them actually to keep their top 4 spots. So that will be interesting. Half time at Man City Bournemouth, Rich, is that right?
Yeah, they're just walking off now. Bournemouth, I think, can count themselves a little bit unlucky. They had a very good period in the middle of that half when they were very, only 1-0 down and really pushing for an equaliser. But it's City that have got the second goal. So I think we'll still see some substitutions from Pep, but possibly not. He's obviously going to relax now. They've got that cushion.
Newcastle and Tottenham has just gone into his 48th minute, so it's nearly half-time there, and Burnley and Wolves 0-0, just going into the 47th minute. If everyone watching does want to go and have a comfort break, get a drink, whatever you want to do, we'll give you 2 or 3 minutes before we kick off with our famous half-time quiz. So if you want to do that, carry on now. We'll give you a couple of minutes. In the meantime, so average points for this week. So top 10k average this week is 14.76, which probably seems
pretty low,
quite low maybe, but obviously there's a lot on Sterling, De Bruyne and whoever else. And the overall average is 6.4. But
my God.
There will be a lot of people who have still got a lot of, Liverpool, Man United players in their teams as well. So, and Man City, their key assets, their highly owned assets, haven't really
on 0
kicked
points
off
at the
yet,
moment,
have they? So I'm sure that will go up massively. Top of the shop for points this week so far. David Silva is currently on 12 points at half time. That will include his 3 bonus points. Rich will run through the half-time bonus points for us after the quiz. Son is on 9 points. Aspilicueta finished on 9 last night. Rudiger got the 2 bonus, so he's on 8. Jesus is currently on 7, and Alonso on 7 as well. So that is kind of where we are. Just to catch up quickly on the chat, after tonight, people will bring in David Silva. I want to see him benched for game week 37. I'm not sure.
I think that's probably very likely. I think you've got to. He'll probably be on the bench for the cup game. If he's on the bench for the cup game, he might play 37. But whether he'll play 37 and 38, I don't know. So I think he's maybe a bit of a risky pick to bring in, because you can make that sideways move and sell a Mahrez or a Sterling, and you'll find that they play next week. So
I think he'll play the FA Cup game, because I think with David Silva, he tends to play in their really big games, and for me, this semi-final is it's the biggest game out of the next 3. I think he'll play. I think he may be rested then for 37 personally, and then he will have his swan song in 38. But who knows? We will see.
Yeah, good will happen.
Okay, on to the halftime quiz. All the games now at halftime. So, halftime quiz for those who are with us. So, those who haven't listened to us before, can you please not put the answers in the chat so everyone can play and have a game? We have 10 questions to ask. So, Rich has done really well. I think he struggled a little bit last week, but it was hard, to be fair, because he gave me a good.
Up the difficulty last week.
I did, but I think this one. Well, there's a couple of them which are easy-ish, a couple of them hard. Please keep quiet in the chat until after. Keep score of your own scores, and afterwards we will see who has got the best scores. So, first quiz question, this time out of 10. Which Premier League winner's father played rugby for Wales? That is the first question. Which Premier League winner's father played rugby for Wales?
Wow.
Question 2. How many teams were in the first ever Premier League? So think back all those years, Rich. What is it now? It's nearly 30 years now, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Where's that time gone?
Yeah.
How many teams were in the first ever Premier League? Question 3. Who was the first sponsor of the Premier League? So again, thinking back those 30-odd years. Who was the first sponsor of the Premier League?
Great question.
Question 4. In what season did Roman Abramovich take over Chelsea? One for you here, Rich, with you being a Chelsea fan. Still not easy, mind, to get the right season, is it? But
no, okay, got a bit of a guess there.
Okay, so that was question 4. In what season did Roman Abramovich take over Chelsea? Question 5. Which player holds the record for the most goals in consecutive Premier League games? Maybe one of the easier ones, potentially. That was question 5. Which player holds the record for the most goals in consecutive Premier League games? Question 6. Kevin Phillips won the Golden Boot in 1999-2000. Who was the next English player to do so? Oh, that is a good question.
Wow.
Kevin Phillips won the Golden Boot in 1999-2000. Who was the next English player to win the Golden Boot? Question 7. If you're ready, Rich.
Yeah.
Question 7. Which player holds the record for most consecutive Premier League appearances? Which player holds the record for the most consecutive Premier League appearances?
God, I have to have a real guess at that one.
And the answer, well, I'll give you the answer of how many appearances. Consecutive Premier League appearances, 310.
What? Never missed a game?
Never missed a game.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. I knew the answer, but I didn't know it was that many games. 310. Incredible. This next one is fantastic. You probably won't get this one, but it's a brilliant question. Question 8. Which Swede has a clause in his contract banning him from travelling into space? What a question.
What?
So which Swede had a clause in his contract banning him from travelling into space? So obviously it's a Swedish player who has played in the Premier League. Fantastic. What a clause.
No, okay. Well, yeah.
Sorry, that one's a bit of a tough one there. It's a bit unfair, but
okay.
That's question 8. Question 9. This is a tough one as well. Who scored the first perfect hat-trick in the Premier League? So perfect hat-trick, left foot, right foot, and header. So who scored the first perfect hat-trick in the Premier League? A tough one. But it's a well-known striker, scored a lot of goals, but obviously you're spanning nearly 30 years. A tough one.
It is. Okay, I'll have to think about that one, have a guess.
Okay. And final question. Which player scored 4 goals in 12 minutes after coming on as a substitute versus Nottingham Forest? 4 goals in 12 minutes. So they are the 10 questions. I'll give you a minute or so, Rich, because there's a few toughies in there, to be fair. But I have to up the ante, Rich. So just for those who haven't joined in the previous streams, Rich had, I think he had, was it 8 or 9 out of 10? He had 13 out of 15 or something like that, and then 8 or 9 out of 10. So I had to up the ante a bit. So last week was tough. There's a couple of tough ones in here as well.
I'm having to have a few guesses here.
No, I'm sure you are, mate. But all good fun. While you're just having a minute or so, Rich, just a reminder for everyone, don't forget to catch the FPL podcast by Fantasy Football Hub on this channel with myself, and I'm joined by the latest ranked 13th best ever FPL manager in Adam Hopcroft, and last season's world number 3, Andy Green. So every Monday night we record, and it comes out ready for you for your morning commute on Tuesday morning at about 7 in the morning. So if you don't subscribe to that, please make sure you do. Like I say, we've got two of the best ever FPL managers. We've got a third on here as well. Fantasy Football Hub is the place to be for the best managers. Sadly, I'm not one of them personally, but I surround myself by them to make myself feel a bit better. Will Thomas, so Will also is one of the best FPL managers ever. He will also be recording his excellent videos throughout the week, including his team reveal on this YouTube channel as well. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you set alerts. And please, if you're enjoying this stream, please like it because it helps us, get the word out a bit more. So please press like if you are enjoying. And just a reminder as well, we'll be back on Gameweek 38 plus to run through the 10 games on this channel. That is going to be really good fun. It's going to be absolute chaos for Rich and I, but we will do our best to bring everything the best we can. I'm captaining David Silva 100% on that one. Wish I'd brought him in this week, but I didn't have the balls. But try and do it for Gameweek 38. Okay, the second halves are going to kick off soon, Rich. So are you ready for your answers?
Got 10 guesses for you. Yeah, there are a lot of guesses in here.
10 guesses. Well, the first one should be a fairly educated guess, I think, because there's not that many Welsh Premier League winners, I suppose, is the hint on the
Well,
first.
it took me a while to think of one, and
Okay.
initially I put Ryan Giggs down, but obviously because of all the controversy about him and who he played for, I think he's got an English dad, hasn't he? So I wrote Ryan Giggs off, but it's either he's got an English dad or an English mum. I know that. So that was going to be my guess, but then I've changed it, to Craig Bellamy.
The correct answer is Ryan Giggs.
Oh,
Ryan
it's not
Giggs.
Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggs' father played rugby for Wales. That is really unlucky there, Rich. Well done to John Tyner and Christopher Tellers, who both said Ryan Giggs. That is correct. That's unlucky there, Rich. Second question. How many teams in the first ever Premier League? What do you think of that, Rich?
22 is my guess.
22 is correct. Well done there, Rich. I can't actually remember why it was that, but they obviously must have.
Yeah, the old First Division had 22 teams in it, and when they broke away from the old, league organisation, they only wanted to have 20 teams, so they used 2 seasons to relegate an extra team. So they got down to their desired number.
I'm showing my youth there, Rich. Obviously,
yeah, you are.
I remember that. I think I was 11 years old at the time, so but probably a lot older than a lot of our listeners, I would guess. L Pipe, Aman 24, Abdullah M, and John Tyner 22. Correct. Well done, everyone there. Question 3: who was the first sponsor of the Premier League, Rich? Do you think?
Well, I know they were a sponsor, but whether they were the first one or not, I don't know. Carling is my guess.
Carling is a very good guess, Rich.
Right.
It was Carling. Well done. So they were the sponsors in the 91 or 92 season. John Tyner said Barclays. Really unlucky there, John. Aman guessed Carling and Abdullah guessed Carling. Well done, guys. Yep, Carling were the sponsor of the first ever Premier League. In which season did Roman Abramovich take over Chelsea? This is I was a year out.
Yeah, I think I might be a year out because I know Ranieri got a bit of a hard time from him before Jose came in. But I'm going to go for 2003-04.
2003-04. It's a year earlier than I would have guessed. I thought it was 2004-2005, but 2003-2004 is correct. He took over in 2003 and 2004. Much earlier, probably than a lot of people would guess. L Pipe says 2011. No, John Tyner 0203, just the 1 year out there, John. Aman 2003. Yes, I'm not sure whether we should give you that because it spans over 2 years. But we'll give you that, Aman. L Pipe nowhere near. I think they were
just
near.
To break into the quiz, we'll have to answer them quickly. Sterling is coming on for the second half.
Don't say for bloody Foden. I think
he's come on for Bernardo.
Bernardo, I think we thought that Bernardo would be coming off. News for everyone. Breaking news: Sterling on for the second half. Captainers, don't worry about it. He's going to come on. He's going to score another hat trick. There we go.
Yeah.
Aman says 2003. Abdullah 2003. Sorav 2004. Well done, everyone there. The games are just about to kick off in a minute or two, so we will try and get through these. Which player holds the record for the most goals in consecutive Premier League games?
Fairly confident about this one, Andrew. I've gone for Jamie Vardy.
It was Jamie Vardy. We all followed it. I think it was, I want to say 2016, 2017 was it? It was that season where they won the league, won it. So we all followed him there, especially through FPL. So Jamie Vardy, Aman says took it from Van Nistelrooy. Aman 24, no, if it is a he, knows his stuff. And John Tyner correct as well. Well done, Jamie Vardy. Christopher Tellers, Vardy. Absolutely. So question 6, Kevin Phillips won the Golden Boot in 99-2000. Who was the next English player to do so?
I've just gone, I don't even know if I've got the right era, but I've gone for Alan Shearer.
Incorrect, because I think he was still playing then.
He might still have just about been playing, but he's probably past his best years by then. I think he was
past his best. We've had some guesses. Surav says Michael Owen, John Tyner, Shearer, Christopher Tellers is correct. It's actually Harry Kane. Harry Kane,
all the way to Harry Kane.
All the way to Harry Kane.
Wow.
So from 2000, I think, to 2017, I want to say. 17 years without an English top scorer.
That's amazing. That is a great question. That is a great question.
L Pipe said Lineker and Sev Fox. BT unlucky, but Harry Kane is the man. Question 7. Which player holds the record for most consecutive Premier League appearances? Was 310.
Okay, another guess. I thought about it after I guessed it. I did have Kevin Nolan down, but I thought it's got to be a goalkeeper if he's lasted that long. So I've gone for Peter Cech.
Oh, so unlucky. He was the answer a couple of weeks ago to a similar kind of question. I think he got the most clean sheets, most consecutive appearances. John Tyner says Lampard. L Pipe and Aman 24. Brad Friedel, correct. Brad Friedel.
Yeah,
310 consecutive appearances.
Yeah. I knew it'd be a kicker, so they don't get injured, do they? That's the thing. That's the logical thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Abdullah should be Friedel. Yes, it is Friedel Abdullah. So Friedel. Question 8. Which Swede had a clause in his contract banning him from travelling into space? Come on, Richardson's easy, surely.
Well, I thought laterally on this one. I thought, who's barking mad enough to have a contract like that? So I've gone for Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
No, it's incorrect. It'd be
Don't
interesting
tell
to
me
see.
It's Larson.
It's not Larson. It'd be interesting to see. So the kind of guesses we get in the chat. So a lot of people are guessing Zlatan. We've had Kim Karlstrom, not quite. I think they played for, I want to say Arsenal. I'm sure it was Arsenal. I'll come back to that one in a minute. It was an Arsenal player, I'll give you that. I think it was, I hope I get this right now. I'm sure he was an Arsenal player. Probably played in the last, 10 or 15 years. I'll give you the answer to that now. I'll let everyone have a think. I know that's really going to annoy people. We are back in with the football, just to say 48 minutes in. Man City 2, Bournemouth 0, with Sterling on at half time. Newcastle 0, Tottenham 1 in the 48th minute there. And Burnley, Wolverhampton have just got into the 47th minute. We will bring you any updates from those just as we finish off this quiz. Question 9. Who scored the first perfect hat-trick, left foot, right foot and header in the Premier League? Tough one.
Again, it had to be someone from a long time ago, back in the early 90s. And I just suddenly plucked out this name of Mark Viduka out of nowhere. Any completely random guess.
Really good effort. Clue is he played for Chelsea. He played in the early 2000s. Wonderful striker. I think he was number 9. Played alongside Ida Good-Johnson.
Not Drogba.
No, it was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Hasselbank.
The man Jimmy. So he scored the first ever perfect hat-trick.
Okay. All right. Fading badly here, mate.
We had some guesses in the chat. Fowler, John Tyner, Fowler, Aman, Cantona, Letitia Suarez, Flo and Drogba. The answer was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. And the final question, I get a feeling you're going to know this one, Rich. Which player scored 4 goals in 12 minutes after coming on as a sub versus Nottingham Forest?
Should get this right. I'm guessing. But I think the guy I'm thinking of did it against Liverpool. Arshavin, Andre Arshavin.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect, Rich. I'm surprised at that. It's actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as the guys are saying in the chat. Aman, John, Surav, Chris, Ahmed, Kangara, Abdullah. All got that one correctly. I've
had a bad week. I hope my fantasy week doesn't go like this. 4.
And the answer for the Swede that has a clause in his contract banning him from travelling into space. I thought he plays for it. I do have another mind block here. But the answer was Stefan Schwarz. So he was the Swede who had a clause in his contract banning him from travelling into space. So 4, Rich. That is a poor week, but I would say again,
poor week, buddy.
Tough all questions here. You were close on gigs and whatever else. If I can kind of keep you at 5 or 6 out of 10, I'll be happy with that.
Exactly. It's got to be a challenge, hasn't it? I'll have to start swatting up on my history
to
get the old almanacs out.
John Tyner had 4 out of 10 as well, Rich, so you're in good company there.
Yeah.
Aman and Abdullah both had 7 out of 10. Wow.
Well done, guys. Very
amazing
good.
Scores, guys. Good. Well done. Really, really good stuff. Congratulations, everyone. So we will move back onto the football. What's going on, Rich, in Man City Bournemouth? Any chances for
nothing
Man City?
much. Nothing. No major chances yet. Sterling looks like he's taken up a position on the right hand side at the moment. Jesus is still on the field. City just pressing, looking for an opening. Nothing much happening. Nothing much happening in the Spurs game either. Have kicked off, slowed down a bit. Spurs game, they're just tapping it around really. So nothing more to report.
Nothing more to report, and nothing so far in Burnley and Wolves. Well, I would both imagine we've got quite high owned amount of strikers. So Pope was obviously highly owned. Obviously, Doherty's on the bench, but Saiss, Bolly, or people like this. So
I was going to have a look at the bonuses for people, wasn't I? So
if you don't mind, Rich, I will.
Yeah, sure. So Wolves are just edging it on the bonus at the moment. Neves on 3, Moutinho on 2, and Bolly on 1. But these are very early day scores, and in a 0-0 game, you've got to wait till the clean sheets kick in really before you know where you are.
Yeah.
City, Silva's clearly in front. David Silva 40, Jesus on 26, and Gundogan on 13. So the Silva and Jesus clear there. And then in the Newcastle match, Son is on 22, Lo Celso 16, and Richie and Lloris and Winks level on 10 apiece at the moment.
Okay, so we're hoping for a bit more action, I think. I think every one of us is hoping for a bit more action from the Man City game. We will keep you up to date. Come on, Foden. Kangara, Adrian, has got Foden as well. Foden, please score. And Seb, I bought Foden in 3 weeks ago. He's been disappointing so far from a fantasy perspective. Is that the same as you? I've captained him twice though, Seb, so I'm getting the double bloody thing here as well. And I can't watch the games because I'm doing this as well. I can't actually watch the game either, so I'm trusting Rich's commentary and
Foden. He's not been that involved, I'd say, on Foden so far. He seems to be getting into a lot of tackles and tussles close to the byline. He's not really pushing into the box, just playing a little bit off the front at the moment.
Okay, a couple of other scores. Christopher Telles scored 6 out of 10, 2 weeks in a row. Really good score there, Chris. I think 6 was a good score this week. L Pipe 5 out of 10. Not proud to admit. So really good score, L Pipe. I wouldn't worry about that. It was a tough old quiz this week. Kangara, Foden, please score. And Kangara, I should have brought David Silva. Everything's easy in hindsight, Kangara. Don't worry about it. I wish I'd brought in Antonio and captained him, but everything is easy in easy in hindsight. We've only got so many Man City spots. This is why it's so tough to rotate between your Man City and Man United players, is because you've got them 6 spots sealed. What you don't want to do is go change them around very much. Did see a question earlier. Sorry, I can't think who it's from now. But asking around early team news for game week 38 and where to get it from. Now, FPL Rockstar is the main man on Twitter. If you don't follow, if you're not on Twitter, you need to get on Twitter, because Fantasy Football Hub, is massive on Twitter. We have all our content, everything that goes up on our website, all our articles, all our podcasts, everything goes on Twitter. So look at the bottom left-hand screen. Get on Twitter, follow at FFH_HQ if you don't already. Also give Rich and myself a follow. So Rich is above his head at Rich Clarke FPL. Rich is one of the best FPL managers to ever pick an FPL team, and mine is at Fergie222. So I just kind of organise everyone and run the tech, but it's all these experts you want to be following and taking their advice. Rich also has a brilliant article on the Hub this week. Actually, it's his strategy article, the remainder of the season. Rich is currently on for his 8th top 10k finish. So follow the man, please follow the man.
Yeah.
Also follow us on Instagram, same at FFH_HQ, and follow us on TikTok if you dare. I'm not really sure.
For another platform.
we've gone on TikTok. There's a photo of. There is a video of me on there doing keepy ups with toilet rolls. I managed to do it was like the lockdown craze. I managed to do an around the world and about 5 or 6 keepy ups, I think. So look on there. There's some interesting stuff on there.
Excellent.
Yeah, so FPL Rockstar, we mentioned earlier. Chris has just said that Rockstar announced that yesterday was the last time he'd have lineup leaks for this season. I would say, Chris, he said that a few times. That's the only thing I would say. So if you don't follow FPL Rockstar on Twitter, follow him. He's got a massive following. He's the only trusted one we know, and Surav is right there actually. So FPL Scarface. So get on Twitter, follow at FPL Scarface. I think he's had the last 2 right. So there are only so many in the nose to follow. The 2 I would say, well, actually there's There's
yeah, there is. They do come with a risk warning. They have been wrong as well. As if you don't wait for team news and you trust them, and they're not offering any guarantees.
So Rockstar has never been wrong. I would say about Rockstar. He's been all season now. Scarface looks like he's getting the same information as Rockstar, so I would recommend going with Scarface. And there's also Sam Martin FPL, so he's really good for Leicester only news. So if you want to know Leicester news, Sam Martin is in the know there. There's been a goal at St James's.
Oh, there we go.
And sadly for Spurs fans, it looks like the equaliser. Newcastle have scored. We will get the information on that any second. I'm sure D-Rise
I'm about a minute behind on the Newcastle game. I'm watching it now.
You get to see it shortly. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. They're pushing it around at the back at the minute, so not much going on in the City game.
I'm sure D-Raj will post it any second. He loves to get in there first. But there's been a goal.
Matt Ritchie with the goal.
Matt Ritchie, he's been a good pick, hasn't he? Out of position. Al Pipe, the Spurs fan, of course, who bottled our lead, and Aurier, for anyone who's played him.
It's a dribble from Saint Maximin. No, gets pushed out. Gets cleared. Oh, absolutely pinged it in from the corner of the box. Lovely finish. So Maximin with an excellent cut inside from the right-hand side. Went past about 2 or 3 players, got tackled. The ball came straight out to Ritchie. Not sure if it would be an assist or not there. And he just smashed it in. Absolutely brilliant finish.
He's been some pick these last few weeks, haven't he? We're just getting team news. Rich, I don't know if you can just have a quick look at team news. But Chris Taylor said Aubameyang benched.
Yeah, I've heard Aubameyang's benched. I'm still looking for an actual official team before. Again, I was some of those Twitter sources were starting to put rumours out, and I'm not sure I've got it through. But hang on a second. No, it's not quite come through to me on one of the apps yet. But give me a sec. I'll have it for you. It's just probably still. Yeah, should be due now. I'll look it up on the Beeb.
Thank you very much. Apparently, Josh King has just had an offside goal ruled out, Rich, in your game. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I've been... yes, that's
You've been trying to do everything else.
Busy following up on the Newcastle. Oh, yeah. It looked very like a toe. Yeah, it looks like a toe.
Oh, wow.
So, he's just going to be offside, that one. Very close, though. All right, I've got the teams here for Liverpool Arsenal. Let's go Arsenal first as they're the home team. So Martinez starts in goal, Holding, David Luiz, Tierney and Suarez or Cedric. Torreira gets a start. Xhaka, Reece Nelson comes in. Pepe, Lacazette and Saka start. So the big news there is Aubameyang, if you own him, drops to the bench.
Rested for the FA Cup, you'd guess.
Yeah, I would say so. Kolasinac also benched and Maitland-Niles also benched. So Bellerin also benched. So several changes there across the team as they put out a half-strength side. I think they don't really fancy that. On the Liverpool side, Trent Alexander-Arnold comes back in after his rest. Very familiar-looking Liverpool team. It's Alisson, TAA, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson at the back. The Oxlade-Chamberlain comes into the midfield, Fabinho and Wijnaldum. And then the familiar front three will start, Salah, Firmino and Mane.
Wow.
The bench for Liverpool is Lovren, Keita, Adrian, Minamino, Shaqiri, Origi, Jones, Elliott and Williams. So those youngsters might yet get on later in the game. But yeah, full strength Liverpool against Arsenal.
That is quite... Oh, goal. There's been another goal at St James's. Goal at St James's. And this time, El Pipe will be pleased. It has gone the way of Tottenham. So Tottenham are 2-1 up. Some game there, Rich, as we predicted at the start.
It's all happening. I'm looking all over the place from team news to goals to sides.
Imagine
in the space of 2 minutes.
Imagine what it's going to be like in Gameweek 38, mate.
Just put on, I mean, we're going to need some help, that's for sure. It's Harry Kane has finally got himself on the score sheet. So
Harry Kane at last.
He's hanging around from a few team sheets, but yeah, good to see Tottenham making a fight of this one. I thought there'd be a few goals in this game.
Yeah. Harry Kane has scored for Kangara, so Harry Kane looks like he scored for Tottenham.
It's going to be another Aurier assist for everyone.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, fantastic. Brilliant.
fantasy managers. Despite having lost the clean sheet, he's come up with it's probably his 9th attacking return of the season. Aurier producing the goods there with a great cross, I think. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Oh, no, it's not. Fantastic. It's not. I'm being told, Forza's telling me it's Bergwijn that's got it. But okay. I'm really sorry. I'll confirm it. I thought it was Aurier, actually.
We will get all that confirmed. Yeah. And any second now. L Pipe, thank God. Diraj, Kane goal, Seb Fox. I took into account the City bench rotation. Didn't consider that Arsenal would rotate so much.
Sorry, Andrew. It was Bergwijn. Aurier was waiting for a pass just off the right hand side. It was in his position, but Bergwijn had just come on. Sorry.
No, that's cool. So Newcastle 1, Tottenham 2. Son and Kane with the goals, the main men. Bergwijn with the assist for that latest goal. Thank you, Diraj and L Pipe, for saying that. And yeah, Sarah, took into account City rotation. I didn't consider that Arsenal would rotate so much. So yeah, they're clearly resting. They're resting up. Obviously, they play Manchester City in the other semi-final on the weekend. They're going to be fantastic games, aren't they? I can't wait for those.
Yeah, they will be good. And I think Arsenal realise that they've got to be fresh for that game to stand a chance, right? And it is their season, really. I don't think they're going to even qualify for Europe, which might do them some good. So they're clearly gonna have a run around here, but they're probably likely to lose tomorrow. I think quite likely. That should still be entertaining stuff. I wish I had Salah.
I do now, especially after those lineups. Liverpool absolutely full strength, and Arsenal playing a couple of different ones. L Pipe, our new 4-4-2 formation, bringing out increased attacking returns. Absolutely.
Oh, got a big. Was it? Oh, great chance for Bournemouth. Really, another great. They've had some great chances in this game. Gosling, ball came out to him. Good save from the cross from Ederson. Ball comes out to the D, and it just bounces over the bar. Gosling should have done better. Actually, it was a good block, decent block from Garcia, I think it was, for City. Very, very good attack though. That was Gundogan with the block, sorry. Yeah, nice football there from Bournemouth. They're having a real go here. So I think that will mean with half an hour to go, we'll probably see KDB in a bit.
His captainers will be hoping so. And obviously, it's up to Bournemouth now where they try and score.
Bench boosters, I'll take bench boosters like you and me will take any point we can get, right?
Right, we will, mate. Any point I'll do at the moment.
Any point off the bench is worth it because they all count. I haven't got any bench to come on for anyone. They've just all got to play. So I'm not heading for a great score at the moment. Need a Sterling goal and something from KDB.
I've just remembered I've got Pope and Sykes as well, so I'm hoping for that top game to stay 0-0 there. I've also got Jimenez as well, but it's mainly for next week. But yeah, you're right, L Pipe. I think Son playing up front makes him, a really good option, and Spurs increased attacking output. Fantastic, exactly what you want. We're good at Spurs are good enough to not have to, defend and then just try and score the odd goal in the break. They've got a really good football team. I don't understand why Mourinho just wants to play like this. We proved it years ago. A few years ago, our last season at White Hart Lane, played 19 at home, won 17, drew 2. We were one of the best teams in the league, one of the most exciting teams in the league. And I'm not quite sure what's happened. It's just a change of manager, but we need to get back to that. We've got the players. We've got some really good players. So let's get back to that anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be, they're not playing that, I guess that glamour football that they played for a while when they had Bale and players like that. That's the football. I've got a lot of Spurs fans who are mates of mine, and they want to see that pretty football, don't they? That's what they generally want to see. They don't like grinding out results, Mourinho style. But he's good at that. He gets results, and that's the number one thing he gets. So.
Moussa Dembele, I miss. He was one of my favourite players. Moussa Dembele, massively underrated player. Seb Fox, I'm hoping for a Tarkowski hat trick to cap up my free hit this week. Well, Seb, I don't want to piss on your chips, but I think a clean sheet will do you.
A 6-point clean sheet will do.
Yeah. Diraj, Pep's games is multi-dimensional, but the best part about his number 8s and number 10s pick the pockets well while attacking. City is mission in this game desperately. John Tyner doesn't have any chips left, learning for next season to keep towards the end. Yeah, but John, I would also say that you couldn't have predicted what's happened this season, right? There's been a lot. I've seen a lot of players. So the player last season, Paul Jones, fellow Welshman, finished 41st overall in FPL last season. He's used all his chips by game week 30. So there's multiple ways to play this game. It's just so happened that, the way that this season has panned out this time, obviously saving your chips was the best way, but don't over worry or overthink it. There's plenty of ways to play this game and be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this season I played my chips very late. Played my first wildcard game week 20, and the frenzy of people who play it in the first couple of weeks. I didn't see the need to do it. I was still learning about the players. I had most of the good ones anyway, and just was very patient. So there's lots and lots of different ways to play this. And it will be different every season. But just play it when I would say my number one tip is play your chips when you feel it's right for your team. Don't worry about what everybody else tells you to do.
Yeah, don't listen to all the crap on Twitter either. Just play your own game. If I was to give everyone any advice, right? So I'm really fortunate to be surrounded by some of the best FPL managers, right? So in the podcast, on this stream, in the same for Sky, and the advice I get is always the same: is they don't tell you what to do. They tell you kind of how to play the game, and how to play the game is use your eye test, look at the stats, make your own decisions, and be comfortable with the decision you made. Pre-event, right? There's no point in looking after and saying, "Oh, well, that was obvious," because it's not obvious. If it was obvious, you would have done it. And if you can come to peace with that, if you can come to peace with the fact, like my Foden captain now, right? It's looked like it's not going to pay off, right? But I'm so comfortable with the decision. Anyway, thank you, John. He's got to go. And Zoom. Thank you, John. We'll hopefully see you in game week 38. And D-Raz tells that Rodri's on and Gundogan has gone off. So
that's right. Yeah, I was just about to update people on that. Yeah, Rodri on for Gundogan. It would have probably been an opportunity to bring on De Bruyne. So what I read into that is De Bruyne may stay sat down, or he might get the last 10 minutes. I don't know. One of the two. They've still got two subs left, City. So they got one more slot to make those subs. So I reckon he's going to go to about 80 minutes before he makes the next two.
Who was the other transfer then, Rich? Sorry, so we know we got Sterling has come on and Rodri's on. Who was the third one? If you say there's only
Eric Garcia came on for.
Oh right, we missed that
Bernardo.
Okay.
Yeah, he came on for Bernardo, and Kyle Walker went off for Sterling. And obviously both of those wouldn't have picked up clean sheets. So if you did have them, then you're going to be getting a point. Yeah. And Callum Wilson as a triple substitution for Bournemouth. They're really going for it. So they brought on Dan Gosling, they brought off Stanislas, and they brought off Solanke, and on come Callum Wilson, David Brooks, and Lewis Cook. So with Brooks and Wilson, they're going to have a go at trying to get something out of the game.
Let's get predictions in the chat for what we think the Man City Bournemouth game is going to end up. I think it's going to be. I'm going to go 4-0. I'm going to go for.
I'm going to go 4-0. I think Bournemouth are going to go for it. They've got nothing. They've got no reason not to. They've got to try and get 2 goals. So they're going to start pushing up, leave some gaps. I'll go 4-0. I don't think they'll get to 5, but I think they'll get at least another 2. Man City.
I'll go for 4-0 with a Foden brace. But we'll see.
A Sterling brace would be fine with both assists is what I want. So.
Michael Svedin thinks 3-0 and L Pipe and a man 24 think 3-1. I think the 1 is not a bad shout there actually because Bournemouth have come
wouldn't
close.
Matter that much with the 1. I mean, it'd take a couple of midfielder points away, but it wouldn't matter that much to me if Bournemouth scored. And I think they deserve a goal. To be fair, they played very well, very spirited. They've had a lot of chances tonight. Keepers made a couple of excellent saves, and they've done well.
Okay, so what did you make last night, Rich? So Chelsea played Norwich last night. There was a lot of people free-hitted. A lot of people brought in players like Giroud, Pulisic, Willian, Azpilicueta, Alonso and stuff. As a Chelsea fan, what did you make of last night? Do you think that Chelsea are gonna get that top 4 spot?
I thought it was a much better performance than the one against Sheffield United, which was awful. They certainly were up for it. They certainly were trying, but their attacking incision. I mean, Man City, if they play that Norwich team, they will tear them apart. They will win about 8 or 9-0. Chelsea managed to win 1-0. So they did enough to get 3 points. I'm still not convinced they'll get that fourth spot. I think a lot depends on whether City or Leicester or United drop any more points. I think that's how they'll get one of the places. If Chelsea could go into that Wolves game only needing a point, I think they'll be doing well. And I think they could get a point against Wolves at home, but they'll be struggling. And if Wolves are going for it, I mean, the Wolves-Burnley match tonight, which we're not really paying much attention to.
There's not much happening in real fairness.
It's actually quite a critical game. Doherty's now on for Wolves. He's just come on.
So for his one-pointer.
He's come on for a one-pointer for Daniel Podence. But yeah, still 0-0 in that game with 20 to go. And if it stays like that, that's a great result for Chelsea because, to your question, because that's 2 points away from Wolves and it just puts it in Chelsea's hands, really.
Looks like it's a penalty at Man City, Rich.
Yeah, Jesus has been brought down for a penalty. I don't know who's going to take the penalty.
Got to be David Silva, haven't it?
Yeah. Could be Sterling, though.
I'm hoping it's Foden. Oh, Sterling will get it for the golden boot, won't he?
It might do. Well, I don't know.
To be interesting.
VAR is checking. It hasn't been given yet. Okay. I think the Bournemouth defender gets a bit of the ball actually, and then momentum takes Jesus over. But I think he's going to get it. There's clamouring for the penalty, obviously, all over the Twitter community. And
give it to Foden. Give it to the youngster. Come on.
They've replayed it about 1 million times here. I can't tell you which way it's going. I could even put the sound up. I don't know.
I reckon they get it, and I reckon that Sterling takes the penalty, and I reckon he misses the penalty. They are 3 big goals there, Rich.
Yeah.
They're my guesses. One they get the penalty, Sterling takes it, and he'll miss.
I think Jesus might take his own penalty, but yeah, they're still looking at it and they can't make their mind up. I think he gets the ball. The Bournemouth player gets the ball. It pops up in the air, and in the old days that would be given. You'd have said our defender got the ball. No penalty. It's not been given.
It's not been given.
No, been ruled out. No penalty because the defender did get a touch on the ball, then Jesus fell over. I mean, it was one of the ones you'd see given every day of the week. I'll mute out again, sorry. Every day of the week, you'd see that given. And, that's going to, Pep's not happy about it, obviously. But yeah, Jesus could have been running away with the points tonight if he got that one as well.
D-Raz, you wind up merchant. He said Sterling's got the pen. I think something else might be happening though now at Man City potentially, but we will see. Or maybe not, sorry.
No, I don't think so. I'm watching live.
No pen given. Okay.
No pen.
Seb Fox says that's a pen every day except a Wednesday. Unbelievable. That's really unlucky for Man City.
Yeah.
Just to touch on the averages then. So the averages so far, the top 10k average is 23, which in the games that have played, including all those Man City and Chelsea players, is probably quite low, I would guess. David Silva's on 14 points by himself, so congratulations everyone who went for him. The overall average is only 12, which is remarkably low. So
wow.
12. Not sure. I think something might be happening in the Newcastle Spurs game. Might be something to bring you in a second. We will see.
It could be another penalty shout by the sound of it. The Twitter sphere is going mad with penalty shouts.
Okay. If anyone's got any questions for the next week or two on what to do with kind of captains or transfers or anything like that, please let us know. Next week's game, so game week 37 plus. Just have a quick look at the fixtures. Man United home to West Ham is probably one of the standout fixtures from a captaincy view. Especially, if you hold Bruno. Burnley have got Norwich. I think getting in a Burnley player for the last two, or even a couple of Burnley players. They play Norwich and Brighton, could be quite profitable. I'm not sure I captain them though. Wolves home to Crystal Palace, potentially, Jimenez maybe, and they've been very tight at the back as well. You'd have thought that Doherty actually home to Palace may have a bit of legs in that one potentially as a captaincy option. Arsenal
just to interrupt you. Yeah. Sorry, Andrew. big substitutions coming on in the City game. Jesus and Mendy are coming off, and Mahrez, if you own Mahrez, is coming on for the last 15 minutes along with Zinchenko. So that looks to me a big news. Obviously, from that is no KDB tonight, because that's 5 substitutions for Man City now.
Let's hope the people got their vice captain right.
Yeah, just the vice captains will come into play for KDB captainers, but yeah, no points for KDB. That's the first time this season I think he hasn't featured. Wow.
This is going to be horrible because all those vice captains won't be showing now in the live average. So we think, oh yeah, we're doing well against the average. But
yeah.
There's going to be all those vices on Jesus, potentially even David Silva, Bruno, Salah. Yeah. All these big captaincy options. So
absolutely. Yeah, Harry Kane in all that melee as well. Harry Kane's been booked, by the way.
Harry Kane's been booked.
Yeah, he has.
That's probably screwed him for bonus, maybe.
Yeah, screwed his bonus up. Yeah, absolutely.
So he is. Oh, Seb, I've got my vice captain on Silva. Look at that!
Oh, wow!
What a hero!
There we go.
What a week you're having.
Yeah, perfect.
Well done, Seb. Brilliant stuff.
There was obviously a memorable time earlier in the season when I had a 17-point Kevin De Bruyne vice captain, which was absolutely fantastic.
I did as well.
It doesn't happen very often, but it sounds like you're going to get the same thing. Oh, that got to be a penalty for Bournemouth. Sure, no. Oh, referee doesn't even want to have a look at it.
Really?
Looks like a clear-cut opportunity for Bournemouth. VAR might have a look. They might want to look at it because referee's not giving it, and it looks like it's definitely worth going to VAR. What's going on here? Harry Wilson runs into the box. Oh, yes, he does dive. He does dive, actually.
There's been a goal at Burnley. It is Burnley 0, Wolverhampton 1. The Wolves have scored. I'm hoping for Jimenez.
That's my clean sheet gone.
Yeah, and mine for Pope, but hoping for Jimenez. Goal for Wolves, 1-0. We will get the details of that now.
I'll turn over for you, mate.
Any second. We'll get it now. I'm
getting a replay now. Doherty looks like he's going to get an assist here. Pings off him. Yeah, it's going to be a Doherty assist for Raul Jimenez. Big fantasy points there. Buried it. Lovely finish from Jimenez. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh
dear, that's costly.
How obvious, Rich, is the deflection? It's definitely enough to give it an assist.
Doherty has something approaching a shot which comes off the defender's back and then falls to Jimenez, who smashes it in. So I think he'll get the assist for that. It looks like it was a goal-bound shot that then it wasn't. He wasn't trying to pass it to Jimenez, but it's one of those dubious ones that ricochet falls to Raul. And
it'd probably be given, won't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that cost me big. That's what I didn't want to see. There's a big swing there. I don't have Jimenez. I don't have Doherty, and I had the keeper. What's that worth? That's worth about 12 points.
That's about 12 or more.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God.
Seb has benched Doherty for Tarkowski. First thing that's gone wrong this week. I'm sorry, Seb. You have zero sympathy from me with your David Silva coming in as your vice captain. I'm very, very sorry with that. But it sounds like you've got a really good team there, actually. If you can afford to bench those kind of players, and you've got Silva in already for game week 38. So just to confirm, Burnley 0, Wolverhampton 1. It looks like it may be a Doherty assist. We will confirm that. But a Raul Jimenez goal. The man just can't stop scoring. Mr. Consistent. We've then got Man City 2, Bournemouth 0. 80 minutes just gone there. And we've got Newcastle 1, Tottenham 2. So a couple of goals this evening, Rich, which is quite nice because we're normally scrabbling around without many goals, aren't we? But it's been nice. There's been a few goals across the game. So
I haven't got many points though.
I haven't got many points. No.
Been my lowest points return since broadcasting began, I think.
and you're on bench boost as well, Rich.
I'm on bench boost. It's all going wrong, mate. I as I say, got in the top 10k for one night. I think that might be it.
I think that might be it.
So there we are.
D-Raj confirms Doherty assist, and Chris Tellez. Pope was on for 3 bonus, as he always is. In all fairness, he's always on for 3 bonus. Pope, and he still might get one. You never know. He still had bonus points before where he's conceded, so you'll never know. And El Pipe, consistent, didn't score for 3 games straight, so I sold him, and then he scored last weekend. Yeah, but he's always there or thereabouts. He's always there or thereabouts in the points. I kept him this week for some play. I was gonna sub him out I was gonna take him out for Giroud for a hit, and I've done the right thing there because they're home to Palace next week as well. Liam Bondin got Jimenez first bench coming on instead of KDB. Very nice. And some chances at the Etihad, Rich, for Bournemouth, I understand.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the bonus points just now.
King almost scored, apparently. I think Josh King almost scored, according to
okay.
And Al Pipe says, what a chance missed by Wilson. Looks like Bournemouth are giving it a real go. We've just gone into the 82nd minute there. 81st minute, Newcastle and Tottenham. D-Raj with cap fluffing needs Salah to come big. Yeah, well, look at those team sheets. If Liverpool decide to turn it on, bear in mind Arsenal players will probably have one eye as well on the FA Cup on the weekend. They're not going to want to injure themselves and things. And Salah, I'm sure I saw earlier, I think he's got 10 or 11 returns in 5 games against Arsenal. Could be an interesting game later as we move into the final 10 minutes of all these games.
Yeah. Needs something here, Andrew. Needs something from Sterling, really. Not going to get anything from De Bruyne. That's really damaged me, that Wolves result. I need a captain return.
The assist has been confirmed for Doherty as well. So he's only on the pitch for a few minutes and gets an assist.
Yeah.
And Wolves also, probably more importantly from a real football perspective, are now still in control of their own destiny in terms of Champions League spots as well. So it's really, really like that drop point by Man United the other night could be so important. How that one goal can affect the rest of the season.
And considering they got to go away to Leicester as well, haven't they, on the last day? So
they have. Could potentially be a shootout there, whereas Wolves' next game, they're home to Crystal Palace, but then last, as you said, Rich, Wolves v Chelsea, we could have a 4-way shootout for those.
Yeah, they're going to be a good watch on that last day, with everything on the line. So
everything on the line, and we will be covering it here live on this channel, all 10 games. Don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and because it's the last game of the season, we'll probably have a couple of beers as well, and whatever else.
Yeah, I hope so.
Kangara
and a few assistants.
Yeah. I'll get.
Foden had a chance just now, mate. It just was at very close range. Bournemouth keeper smothered it. So Foden's in the action still. Still an opportunity for your captain.
Kangara says today Salah.
10 minutes with Bournemouth.
Today Salah and TAA will bang big. I haven't got Salah. I have got TAA still. I've held on to him because he's just so dangerous, isn't he? And Kangara, I'm still hoping Foden scores. Me too, Kangara, don't worry. It'll be my consecutive stream on here with a failed Foden captain, which won't be good. But and Al Pipe says Ramsdale save from Foden point blank range. So thank you for the updates, guys. Really, really appreciate it. The average is creeping up slowly. So the top 10k average, 23 points, still low, I'd say, even though a lot of United.
That's all those Wolves points coming in, isn't it? That's what it is. Yeah.
Christopher Tellez has had a bit of a stinker at the moment. It's not finished. There's still time to play in these games. Done a grand total of 9 -4 from Pope, Doherty, Sterling captain, Mahrez, and Laporte benched. Obviously, you will get the points for Laporte's replacement, whoever that is. So whoever you've got on your bench will obviously come on, Chris and Seb. Everyone's been saving from Foden recently. It's just the luck, mate. I probably wouldn't captain him in a normal season, but haven't had the best of seasons this year, and due to just all the stuff that's happened over the last few months and things, just fancied having a go for a bit of a differential. He's still got 5 minutes or 6 minutes to try and score a goal.
Jimenez has thankfully gone off now for Dendoncker. So again, if you've got Dendoncker in your team, you're getting a point, and Jimenez can't do any more damage. But he's gone off on 84 minutes, and Jota is on for Neto is on for Jota as well for Wolves.
And thank you, D-Rage, for the update. He says Richie, Son, and Lo Celso leading the bonus points in that Newcastle and Spurs game. and David Silva, Jesus, and Stones leading the BPS in the Man City game. Stones is an interesting one there. Still, obviously, plenty of time knowing Man City for a goal or two.
Yep. Well, it could be a handball. VAR might have a look at that by David Silva, funnily enough. But no, I don't think it's going to get given. Just one of these nights where it doesn't look like Bournemouth are going to get given anything. They've had a couple of clear shouts, and the referee's just not interested in giving them anything.
And the top point scorers then this week, David Silva currently on 14 points. Well done to anyone who has got them. Either in their team, but I know some have got them as captain, some have got them coming off their bench, and some have actually triple captain as well. So well done everyone who has got David Silva in their team. Matt Ritchie is on for a 10-point haul at the moment, even though their team are losing. So Ritchie very, very low owned. Jimenez is currently top of the BAPS again. Thank you, Diraj. Jimenez top, Bolly second, Vinagre third. That Vinagre looks like a nice young play. He can't get in the team much because of Johnny Otto, but he looks a nice player. Jimenez on 9 points. Son currently on 9 points due to his bonus points and his goal. Aspilicueta obviously got his 9 last night, and Vinagre is currently on 8. He's on 0% effective ownership, Vinagre as well, but obviously he doesn't get the starts. As we approach the 86th and 87th minute in these games, Camby Labacta. Hey guys, just home from work. My Foden captaincy punt wasn't the best. Join the club. Camby, don't worry about it. It's all a bit of fun at this stage of the season. Next season's around the corner. It's going to be interesting actually to see how close after this season.
That could be a goal for Bournemouth. It is. Bournemouth have scored. That's the City clean sheet gone. That could make a difference to a few points. And it's David Brooks, who spent a lot of this season injured. He's pulled one back for Bournemouth on 88 minutes of Callum Wilson assist. Very good break from Bournemouth.
So we don't even get our Foden clean sheet captain point.
Don't get your clean sheet point. No, good ball from the back. A nice pass, so couldn't miss. Very nice goal from. I don't think City were expecting that at all. And now Bournemouth are in with a sniff of a point.
They're still in this game, yeah. It's a really good shout, actually, yeah.
2-1. Come on, Bournemouth.
David Brooks. Who had the assist, Rich? Sorry?
Callum Wilson.
The two subs have come off the bench to do the do. Well done, Bournemouth. You know, they've really tried to turn it around a little bit, haven't they? Fair play. So you can't really argue with that. It's going to be interesting now. I predict now that Man City, Bournemouth are going to go all out to get that equaliser, and
Sterling will get one in.
And there'll be some. A goal.
God, I hope so. I need that so much.
Sterling captain, as if you don't return, can feel very, very aggrieved. I think. So Burnley 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1 after 87 minutes. Man City 2, Bournemouth 1. Just go into the 90th minute there. Newcastle 1, Tottenham 2. We were just talking about So
chance! They bundled it in quickly. Callum Wilson had a chance on the edge of the box, put it about 3 feet wide, scuffed his shot a bit, but it was a good half chance. That lovely ball in to the thing. Oh yeah, the defender makes a bit of a mess of it actually, Garcia, and a great chance to equalise for Callum Wilson. All happening here.
Can Bournemouth players play like this throughout the season? It's incredible
they just gone through
what mentality and momentum does, isn't it?
They're just going for it, Great stuff. It's the sort of game where something could still happen late on. We saw it in the other night with Southampton got a goal in the 96th minute. Yeah. Just got into 90 minutes up here. Still waiting to hear how many minutes. There hasn't been that many injuries, so I don't know how long they're going to add on here. But they're in stoppage time now.
There has been a goal at
6 minutes.
There's been a goal at St James's Park.
Hang on, another one.
And it has gone the way of, you can probably tell by my voice, because if it was Newcastle, I'd be down in the dumps. But it is Tottenham have scored their third goal in the 90th minute to make it 3-1 to Tottenham. We'll try and get the details of that any second. With Newcastle 1, Tottenham 3 goals scored in the 90th minute. Kangara says, we now wait for United players to save the day. Absolutely, Kangara. I've heard Greenwood may have a knock, mind. If you've got Greenwood, you want to be looking at your bench. L Pipe, fist bump to L Pipe, 3-1. Come on, the Spurs.
Kane. Harry Kane's got
Harry
it.
Kane. Congratulations, those who held on to Harry Kane.
Oh, that was a big effort. I think it was Lamella had a shot saved, parried out to Kane. He scored with a diving header, and he's injured himself in the process of scoring. I think he's hurt his ribs or something, fallen against the defender's knee. Just looking at WhatsApp, yes, Eric Lamella with his blonde haircut picks up the ball, it's completely through on goal, gets brought down but stays on his feet. Parried by the goalkeeper. Yeah, Kane puts it in the net and then crashes into the cells, I think it is.
A double for Kane.
I think he's just basically got. I think he's just winded. He just got the defender's knees in his stomach, I think.
I think he was a popular transfer out over the last week or two because he hadn't looked very good. Yeah, Kangara says,
now.
"Oh my God, just sold Kane." I mean, it's a tough one.
He'll do that to you, though.
It's a tough one. It is a tough one. So we're just approaching now. So we're in the 90th minute with Burnley and Wolves. We're in the 93rd minute, Man City, Bournemouth. Come on, Foden, just get something. And Newcastle 1, Tottenham 3.
Oh, more Commonwealth actions. I believe it's lobbed in. Ederson's grabbed it. They're bickering and arguing. Wilson had another half chance. Kane's gone off of a Tongan, clearly as a precaution. I think he's going to be all right. He's okay. He's just winded.
It's okay, thank goodness. Good for Spurs. Bumps them up the table. Man City Bournemouth sounds like a great game. It's definitely not the game we were expecting. We were expecting a 4, 5 or 6-0, I think, wasn't we? But definitely hasn't turned out to be that. And Bournemouth and Wolves has
half chance for Sterling on the edge of the box, just miscontrolled. Mahrez is obviously now on. They still haven't given up here, City, but Bournemouth desperate to get it forward.
Could be a
3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go in the Bournemouth game.
It sounds like it wouldn't be surprising if there was a goal either way there, by the sound of it, because they're both. It sounds like it might be quite end to end.
Another yellow card been dished out to Garcia. He hasn't had the best of games, this Garcia, since he came on.
He's a youngster, I think, and he's only like 19. But yeah, I wonder if he's the long-term kind of partner, or whether they're going to spend the dosh on or whether they go with Stones or or Otamendi, wherever else. But
long ball coming into the box here from Ramsdale, taking a free kick deep in his own half. Players, it's all Bournemouth. They're just having a go, trying to get a point. Bless them. Come on, Bournemouth. Just for football, not FPL.
Yeah, not FPL.
Chance for Wilson, header over the bar. Unlucky. They're creating chances, but they're only half chances. There's a Newcastle player down in the Tottenham game, which is obviously using some time. Mella, bad foul on Cher. I think he's hurt his shoulder going down. All happening.
all happening in injury time. There's not much time left now in these games. 93rd minute of Burnley Wolves. So Wolves look like they might be holding on for another 1-0 win. They've had the best defence since lockdown, I believe, and they're about to, it looks like, keep another clean sheet. And Doherty has come on as a sub and got an assist. So that is that's quite fortunate for his owners, but that's what he does, isn't it, Doherty? He's such an attacking player. And it's Man City 2, Bournemouth 1. We're going to 95th minute there. Still 2-1. Bournemouth knocking on the door by the sound of it. And Newcastle 1, Tottenham 3. Just going to 94th minute there. So it looks like we may be heading to the conclusions of our games potentially. From an FPL view, Rich, your bench boost is not looking the best at the moment.
It's not looking the best, no. I was just thinking before you asked me there. I was just saying that when I don't do well, I always think, what can I learn, from this? And I think what I've learned is that, initially looking at this fixture, this Bournemouth Manchester City fixture, it was one of these ones to largely avoid certainly from a captaincy perspective, because it's one of the ones where you just think, well, you just don't know what's going to happen. First of all, you don't know who's going to play. And that should automatically put you off or make you wary of captaining, because when your captain doesn't start the match, you're automatically then just getting a point and hoping for some late consolation. So I actually need to remember this game. So when I'm in future, positions, we're just captaining a wanting to captain a form player with some momentum or whatever, just go with something safe, particularly to, preserve rank. So, yeah, not going great, but a lot of people probably having a great week. So not over yet.
Newcastle and Tottenham has just finished. So 3-1 to Tottenham. We're just waiting for the other games now to conclude. I've got 30 points so far, which is not bad. It's slightly above the average, actually. So I can't.
Yeah, I think you got one more than me now. I think I'm on 29.
Oh, there you go, Rich. You're above average then, because the average is only 23 in the top 10k and 12.6 overall. So.
Is it really? Okay. No, I had a good night last night, didn't I? I had those 22 Chelsea points last night. So
of course you did, yeah.
Only 7 points this evening. So it's not been great.
Full time for Man City, Bournemouth are here in, so that game is finished. 2-1 to Man City, not the result we were expecting, and Sterling captainers, of which they were a lot. I'm not going to be pleased with a 1 point return. At least Foden got me a 2 point return as captain. So who's winning there? But that game looks for a finish. We're just in the final embers now of Burnley and Wolves, just in the 95th minute. Quick question, Rich, before we finish off. Chris tells, need to get defender under 5 million for my bench boost in 37. Who would you rather go with, Egan or Dunk, or are there any better shouts? Chris, I would personally go with a Bournemouth defender. Rich, I'm not sure. Sorry, a Burnley defender.
A Burnley defender, yeah, under 5 million. Yeah, it was Charlie Taylor, but he's had a bit of a knock, hasn't he? So he went off tonight. So he was the cheap one. I don't think there's.
Oh, there's been a late goal. You won't believe it. There's been a late goal at Burnley. And it is Burnley 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. They have scored at the death in the 96th
That will take a few
minute.
Take a few clean sheets away, won't it?
Including mine. So my score's bloody wrong now, because I would have counted the clean sheet. But Burnley have scored in the 96th minute to make it Burnley 1, Wolves 1. That is unbelievable.
Hang on a minute, I'll get the score off for you. Chris Wood goes up for a header, I think. Oh, overhead kick. No, it comes off Doherty's back. And then, I don't know what's going on.
Oh. I thought you were going to say a Doherty own goal there.
I
said a Chris Wood goal.
I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
D-Raj saying a Chris Wood goal, but we'll try and get it now. Rich can work out what's happened.
They're still playing here. I think maybe I missed the goal. And that was just another chance that they had.
That is unbelievable.
Oh God, I tell you what, a lot of people have got double Wolves defence,
and triple. I've seen as well. That is going to absolutely.
That's great. That's a great equaliser. Might even bring Pope back into the bonus points.
You're right there. You're right. Yeah.
That's amazing. The twists and turns, and also for Chelsea, the 2 points. The 2 points drop for Chelsea.
That is massive.
Massive from a point of view of the top four. So. Yeah, it's finished. It's 1-1 all over.
Aman24 says disaster and Surav penalty goal. Says Michael's fed in miserable game week. It's not over yet, Michael. There's still plenty of football to be played. It was Chris Wood 90 plus 6 pen. That is unbelievable. And you've got to think that Burnley options look good for the next two. Norwich and Brighton. Get on Burnley. Okay, so we've rest in peace, size clean sheet, Western, same as me, sadly. Me bragging about my 30 points would have included that size clean sheet, so I've been put in my place. And that game is finished now, so we will look to wrap up there. We won't be back next Wednesday, so thank you so much, firstly, for everyone who has watched us. Thank you, everyone, who has joined in. Really love the interaction with everyone, who comes on our stream and chats with us and listens to us and listens to our ramblings. Thank you so much. We won't be back next Wednesday, as the games over Gameweek 37 Plus are quite spread out. There's only a couple of games next Wednesday, so we're not going to do next Wednesday. We're going to have a break, but we'll be back for one final hurrah this season for Gameweek 38 Plus with a 10-game special on Sunday, the 26th of July, and we will start that probably a little bit earlier, probably about 3:45, because there'll be a lot of lineups and team news to get through. It should be absolutely crazy. It should be absolutely brilliant. So please tune in for that. And just a reminder, don't forget to catch the FPL podcast by Fantasy Football Hub on this channel with myself, latest ranked 13th best ever manager Adam Hopcroft, and last season's world number 3 Andy Green every Tuesday morning, ready for your commute. subscribe to the FPL podcast by Fantasy Football Hub. Will Thomas will also be recording his excellent videos throughout the week on his YouTube channel. He is another one of the very best FPL managers in the world. He does his team reveal on this channel every week. So be sure to keep an eye out for those. Remember, please subscribe and please set alerts so you don't miss anything. Just quick in the chat. Christopher's hell excited for that one. Good stuff. Notorious Nerd, best captain shout for next game week. I'm going to have to go for Bruno or Martial. Bruno or Martial, yeah.
Bruno for now. Home to West Ham. I think United will be going for it, and nice, safe home game. Yeah, and they've got Antonio, but I don't think that'll be enough against United.
Agree. Kangara this week was a proper L. It happens, Kangara. Don't be down about it. Don't worry. Come back next time. Cedar Stuff. I am an FF Hub subscriber. Great stuff, Cedar Stuff. Love these shows. Thank you so much. Please retweet it all out. Tell your friends. Tell people to come and have a chat with us. We really enjoy doing it. We'll be definitely doing it every Saturday at 3 p.m. next season. As long as the fixtures kind of fall that way.
As long as the fixtures are there.
Yeah. Sorav, thanks guys. Keep up the great work. Sev Fox, cheers guys. Great stream. Kangara, thanks Fergie. Thanks Rich. D-Raz confirms the bonus. Jimenez looks like he's held on to 3 bonus. Love your show. Aman, roll on next season. And Seb Fox this week was a big W. Seb, you are the absolute winner this week with your vice captain Silva coming off the bench. So well done. Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back July 26th at 3:45 for Game Week 38 plus 10 game special. Have a great rest of Game Week. Have a very, very good and safe week or two, and we will see you then. Thank you all, and goodbye. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Bye.